subscribe. Subscribe to my guy, Uncle D. Tell him Big Bass sent you.
I'm an attorney here in Houston, Texas, an advocate for black men, largely because I am a black man. I'm a black father, I have black sons. Hey man, I do what I do.
I just want to know one thing. It's the only podcast you gonna hear. Why us?
But what we can't deal with transgender men going on. What we can't deal with is 14 million more immigrants flooding the southern border. What we can deal with is rampant crime. What we can deal with is being taxed to death so we can pay for luxury yachts and boats and planes for the Ukrainian president. What we can't deal with.
Who hurt you? It's probably the woman who gave birth to. You hate black women, so why your ass grinning? And why you butt hurt to rename the lineage? Acting like the folks, huh? You so offended.
My ancestors was like, we ain't seen him in 5 years, so I had to get back over here. So when the opportunity arose for me to become a dual citizen of Ghana, something that I never thought would happen, I had to jump at it.
Dr. Umar trended, wanna blend in with them Africans. There you go back again, with your hands out, bank account still in rotation, and Ghana still getting donations. Why us? Cause black men, we the easy targets. Why us? Our own women against us, how she bargain. Why us? Nobody really cares when we die. Why us? Rap images decreasing our lives. Why us? Cause power gotta make sure that we weaken. Why us? Why you get your son on the weekends? Why us? Your daughter now she hates black men. Why us? That's the bullshit that we facing. So who hurt you? The same woman daughter gave birth to. 2025 she will murk you. So who hurt you? Speaking for them unborn kids, the ones who couldn't speak, who died that could've lived. Who hurt you? The same women daughter gave birth to. 2025 she will murk you. Who hurt you? Speaking for them unborn kids, the ones who could've speak, who died that could've lived. What's the beef, black man? See, I'm not the villain, I'm the one that you killing. I'm the one that you drilling, black blood that you spilling. I'm not a crip or a blood, but in the hood drug dealing. It's so damn appealing, it's like a uniform that the world put on till it's time to do you harm. Don't wanna see triggers, don't wanna be victim. Everybody say nigga till it's time to be nigga.
The FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the f these broke is.
A lot of slow singing, flower bringing. Until that hour now your worship didn't know that you was worth it. How a power swinging. So why you wanna kill your brother? Who hurt you, thought you loved your mother? Attorney did his spur to giving therapy. The only space in this place where black men could be. Speak our mind to try to heal each other. Loving on one another, we trying to build each brother. Who hurt you? Child support. Taking all my money, no child support. Who hurt you? Internet naked, going crazy. How the hell she end up with my baby? Who hurt you? Ever since Adam and Eve, now she wanna include Adam with Steve. Who hurt you? Baby, you need to write down what your daddy is. This ain't even worth down. Who hurt you? Child support.
New York was
taking all my money, no child support. Who hurt you? Internet naked, going crazy. How the hell she end up with my baby? Who hurt you?
Okay? So that excuse is not going to work. Let's keep listening.
Hit the like, 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 hit the like. It's a party going on, we all looking at dinners. Spurling and subscribing, only take you a minute. Hit the cash app, super chat, be a penny. One is real good, but 20 more may be plenty. Blizzard King pay a visit, Big Bass my witness. Appreciate the love, that's black men doing business. Stand up, father and brother, lawyer is he. Hall of Fame game, he's known as Uncle D. Tell it just like be, representing for we know time is money, you learning and pay a fee. Know it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Say it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Yeah, know that the blizzard come through. But no love for the winner, no this hit. Darren Hay watch, views. Hit the light, you know that the blizzard come through. But no love for the winner, no just hit. Darren Hay watch, views. Hit the light.
We still look at all the beautiful music that we've created. That's what's on the inside of us. We are wonderful people. All right. What's up? Big shout out to Big Bad's Life, man. Thank you so much, brother, for that brand new spanking video of hit the like button. I need you all to hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Okay. I ain't coming back till you hit the like button. I need everybody listening. Hit the like button. Don't hit the like button. I'm not coming back. Praise Moses. Hallelujah, Lord. Let them all hit the like button as they come in, Father. I pray that they hit that like button so I can get this algorithm popping. Hallelujah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the broadcast. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Thank you guys so much for the wonderful participation in my broadcast. I certainly do appreciate it. I am humbled and appreciative of you all and the time that you spend here with me. It is certainly appreciated. I know you have other things that you can do. You could be, I don't know, maybe talking to your baby mama or something like that. You could be getting ready for work tomorrow. You might have some presentations that you plan on doing. And here you are speaking with me, let me speak to you about the current issues facing Black people in general, Black men in specific. So I want to thank you for being here. Hallelujah. Thank you. I would like to specifically thank all the people who've been here for years and also the people who just got here. You all near and dear to my heart. Hallelujah. All the Blacks. I want to thank all the Blacks. Thanks to all the whites. I want to thank all the light, bright, okay, and all the darks. Okay, did I get everybody? We want to thank all the Asians, those of the Latin persuasion. I'd like to thank both the Hindus and the Pakistanis. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. And a special big shout out to all the people who look at my broadcast, and then what you do is you don't like, you don't share, you subscribe. You special to me. I appreciate all the hate watchers. Now, there we go. Now, that being the case, we are back on our endeavor. And tonight's broadcast is called Africans and Caribbeans Deported. Somebody type Deported in the chat room. And the question you should be asking yourself is why? Why are Black Americans, why aren't they protesting? This is the question. Now, I'm sure that I've said this on several occasions. I'm absolutely certain that I've explained to you that Black people are resting. And that does not just pertain to Latinos being deported. It also pertains to Black people, or people we would call people of African descent. We are not moving for anybody right now. And a lot of people seem not to understand that. We are not in the protest mood right now, okay? We are not doing it. It's not gonna happen. And irrespective of what's going on, we're just not gonna do it. You know, we are not gonna do it. And we see what's happening. I see what's happening. You all see what's happening. We've been watching it for a minute. Right?
The immigration crackdown is off to a fast start. Fox News has learned that in a 33-hour period between Tuesday morning and Wednesday night, ICE agents arrested over 460 migrants, many with long criminal histories. But these operations aren't just limited to Boston. They're taking place all over the country. Bill Malugin is getting an exclusive look at this massive, important operation in the sanctuary city of Boston. Live now to Bill.
Well, Emily, we've heard officials here in Boston and in Massachusetts say repeatedly they are not going to cooperate with ICE or mass deportation efforts by the Trump administration. And ICE says, well, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to cooperate with us. We're still going to go into your city
coming in.
Do the job. And we were with ICE Boston yesterday for about 10 hours as we got to watch them firsthand carry out immigration enforcement. Yeah. Take a look.
Good morning, everyone.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to the first person they gaffle up. And for you all who were not born before 20,000, gaffle is a special word that I want y'all to take a look at. Review your urban
dictionary. It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Extremely violent.
The officers are on the move.
They're getting them. This is day one. They're riding out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member.
Got him. Face covered. Notice how they have his face shield. You can't see who it is.
For his arrest.
Right?
Targeting very violent.
That's right.
Threats to the community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
What?
All over the.
See how my man just popped up? Tell him what you said. Listen.
And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
You going back to Haiti? You going out there looking tough? You going back?
Alien from Haiti. ICE says he's a gang member with 17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Trump, you feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro. Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Yeah. So, nevertheless, and that's how we started this season of gaffling people up. They started off by taking in a black man from Haiti, and they didn't stop there. Okay. At this point, I want to share with you all some video footage that I've accumulated, and we just gonna roll through it, man. Let's take a look at this right here.
John, they're playing. There are a lot of them contesting.
Let me run that back real quick. Yeah, man. So we have a lot of people that are they make it. It's as if they think that it's only Latinos being deported, and that black folks are just, not doing it because
I've been to the U.S. during
we don't want to get behind Latinos. And the truth is, we have issues with all of these immigrants that have come to this country. Shout out to Minnesota County Unsolved Crime. Thank you for being the first person to contribute to the super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Take a listen to this.
Biden administration may have their temporary stays revoked. If so, they could be deported. That is according to a customs enforcement document that was made public. Among those groups, nationals from Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, and Haiti, all who came in under a temporary humanitarian parole program. It allowed them to live and work in the U.S. for 2 years. Some Haitian Americans here say they are shocked about this decision.
Don't be shocked.
I think it's kind of messed up. They contribute to the American economy, A lot of them work. They're doing a lot of jobs that Americans don't want to do.
Well, see, here's the thing. You're doing jobs that Americans won't do for the money that you're charging. You're literally undercutting the wages of Americans. So that's inappropriate to say that.
Today's announcement comes on the heels of an executive order to limit birthright citizenship and a move to cancel appointments for migrants seeking asylum.
It's going down. It's going all the way down. It doesn't stop there. We're going to have to get some more video footage up here because maybe you all don't believe me. There's even folks who are, here's another video I wanted to share with you guys.
Illegal immigrants.
Because it's not just Haitians that are going back, it's also Africans. Y'all
From Latin America and Asia are not the only ones who are on President Donald Trump's radar for deportations from the United States.
They sure are.
Several African immigrants may also soon be deported.
Going home.
Now, in a document published by the United States Immigration Office, there are over 1,000 of the illegal immigrants from Africa in the United States that could reportedly face deportation back to their home country in the coming days. Now, the list, which shows data as of November of 2024, indicates that there are over 1,445,000 non-citizens in the
that's about 1.5 million Africans that are going to be sent
United
home.
States that are going to be deported back to their home countries.
Gotta go.
Out of them, Mexico has topped the list with over 250,000 individuals facing deportation orders from the United States, followed by El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua, among others. From Africa, out of the 47 countries that have been listed by the Immigration Office in the document, Somalia tops the list with more than 4,000 immigrants ready to face deportation from the United States. This is closely followed by citizens belonging to Mauritania, Nigeria, Ghana, Guinea, Cameroon, Ethiopia, Senegal, Liberia, and Sierra Leone.
That's a lot. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing is, you don't really see a lot of African Americans make any noise about any of this, right?
Now, the document's publication and the likelihood of deportation come at a time when the Trump administration, which took office earlier this month, has initiated an aggressive immigration enforcement campaign in the United States. President Donald Trump has swiftly enacted sweeping changes to the U.S. immigration policy. Since his January 20th inauguration, his administration has launched what it calls the largest deportation operation in American history. Trump says these actions are needed after millions of migrants illegally entered during his predecessor Joe Biden's presidency. In his first week in office, Trump has signed multiple executive orders targeting immigration, including one declaring a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border.
So, I mean, people are not used to seeing this level of action from the government. I mean, it's just unheard of. Usually, it takes years, or at least months, if not years, to get this type of work done. Big shout out to all my members in the chat room. I see we just got somebody else who just joined. Who is that? Liliana McDonald. Good looking out, Liliana. Welcome to the broadcast. Thank you very much. And shout out to Chikwe Igwe, Mark the Freelancer, all my members who came through. Let's see, Barracuda, my Wrench Mob, Mark, I appreciate all you guys. I haven't forgot y'all. The Real One, and Simeon Toko, and Mr. 43TX, Kenneth Williams, Boris Barracuda. And Sinyoke, man, everybody up in here. All right, we got to win. We got some winners in here. Okay. All right. But, you know, so back to what I'm saying, and I'm just trying to lay the foundation so you guys can understand where Black folks are coming from. Now, of course, this is being felt by a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying? You know, I want you guys to check this out right here. You got some Haitians people up in Ohio.
Panicking for the folks in the community because we are living a very uncertain time.
They're praying.
Specifically with all those executive orders that have been signed.
They're praying out there. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. They keep on praying. I don't think
a little bit frustrating because people with a temporary status here or any other immigrants, they feel a little bit threatened to deportation. You know, when your mindset is not.
If you're up here illegally, you should feel threatened. You shouldn't be in this country illegally. That's what America's saying right
now. Because of uncertainty, not knowing what will be happening tomorrow. It creates that kind of issue with your mental health.
I've got a lot of calls. A lot of people are asking me, should we leave Ohio? Should we go elsewhere? Or should we come outside of the house at all?
You probably should go somewhere else. You probably need to get on up out of there. You need to go somewhere. I don't know where you're going to go, but you got to go somewhere.
What should we expect? Is there any word about ICE being in Ohio? Kind of calls, but I always have the same answer. I tell everybody to stay calm, wait for further instruction.
Today
you don't have much people who usually have in the church today because people worried about the thing. So, and I think the pastor was make a point about it to let the people know they don't have to be scared. They have to be alert, not to scare.
You need to be worried, baby. You need to be
I
worried.
just ask God, hey, protect your people, because I can do nothing. Only you can, so protect them. It was my last prayer in the service to ask God to protect them.
Unfortunately, it's not a whole lot people can do. And the reason is not much people can do because, I mean, you have the full faith, full weight of the United States government, which is saying you got to go. And if you got to go, you got to go. And so the other thing is you don't have Black people supporting this deal. You see what I'm saying? I want you all to understand where Black people are.
So the term.
Okay. So the question that we're asking tonight is, why is it that Black Americans aren't out there protesting? And this is some of, for you all who are visitors to the broadcast, for you all who may not understand, there's a lot of intra-racial conflict that exists between Black Americans or foundational Black Americans, ethnic Black Americans, and a lot of these folks who come to our country, because they literally come over here and they ride our backs, but they have negative things to say about the culture. Hit the #1 button if you can hear me.
Term refers to a concept coined by activist and filmmaker Tariq Nasheed. It's used to describe Black individuals in the United States who are descendants of African people enslaved in the U.S. prior to the abolition of slavery in 1865. Here we go. I want to start off with you, Shelley.
My never to be humble.
So what you have is a bunch of people who are not foundational Black Americans, and they've decided to get together, and they're going to have a conversation amongst themselves about about Black people and their perception of Black people. I mean, this is pretty bold. You're in someone else's country, and you decide to have a conversation about the Black people who you live amongst. I just want you to think about that, okay?
Opinion is that this movement is a way to further segregate and divide Black people, give me a second, and have these FBAs use this one as a good separation technique or a good segregation technique. Now,
all right, shout out to Del Monte Green Beans. So she's saying, well, hey, this is a separation technique. We're already separated. You all who are of Caribbean and African descent, you're not telling everybody that you're foundational Black American. As a matter of fact, you say things that are designed to disrespect us and treat us poorly, and you literally try to lock us out of what you have, and so we recognize the separation is already there. We're just acknowledging it. Just like you put your flag up, we're putting our flag up.
let me say this. I don't give a damn who you associate with, who you want to be called, or what group. I don't really care. But I think
we know, we can tell that you don't care.
This particular issue is a way for, I'm going to say, maybe more conservatives to use as, oh, I'm separating myself because I am a slave or have ancestors that was.
I don't think this has to do with anything with Democrat, Republican, conservative, or liberal. It has to do with foundational Black American people not appreciating the fact that Black people from other countries come to this country and they utilize and reap the benefits that Black Americans have set aside for ourselves and that we fought and paid for. And then you take that, and then not only do you take it without really giving back, you also take it and then disrespect foundational Black Americans. So we're going to set ourselves aside. You speak for us. We didn't ask you to speak. There's a lot of people who have immigrant descent who come and take positions, like Joy Reid, for instance, and so many others. They take up these positions and they speak on behalf of foundational Black Americans, and they misspeak and they don't properly represent us. And then on top of that, they're oftentimes more aligned with immigrants as opposed to foundational Black Americans. Shout out to Dre. Thank you so much.
Slaves or whatever. I don't care. Ultimately, I am a foundational Black American. I was born here.
No, you are a person of whatever country your people are from. Just because you were born here, you have a different culture. Shout out to Del Monte Green Beans. Just because you have you're born in the United States, that does not mean you're a foundational Black American. For instance, I can trace my roots back at minimum 300 years right here in the United States. So culturally, I'm foundational Black American, raised by two foundational Black Americans, born to a mother who is foundational Black American from Mississippi who picked cotton. And so there's a difference. It's like me, let's say I had a child, my American wife and I had a child in Ghana, and then I say, well, I'm Ghanaian. No, you're not. You're an American who had a child here. Culturally, you're different.
And, you know, a lot of people talk about being separate and all of this other stuff. Well, look, you can do that now. Find yourself an island in South Pacific and just
we're already separated. We're already separate.
Go be separate. But most people don't even know how to feed themselves without a supermarket. So that's something that would break down very quickly.
Now, these foundational Black Americans, the authority, whoever.
I mean, I just want you to understand, these are people who are from apparently the Caribbean and Africa. They're literally on YouTube and they're speaking ill of Black people here in the United States. I want you to think about that. They're talking bad about all of our heroes. You know, they're these foundational Black Americans. All we did was add F foundational in front of Black American, which I think is a very good qualifier to that particular descriptive adjective. Shout out to Del Monte Greens, because it denotes who we are in a unique culture.
I've never heard of such, and no, you may not claim me in your group.
I don't think anybody wants to claim you in their group, ma'am. I think they want you to continue having your group, and foundational Black Americans will have their group.
You know, just because I happen to be born an American, right? Born an American with beautifully melanated skin, but American nonetheless, right? We're not going to start dividing ourselves into these little pockets that make it easier for people to take advantage
are not a little
of other people.
Foundational Black Americans comprise the majority of people of African descent in this country. So it's not a little pocket. Okay, man.
And let me tell you something. I'm sick of FBAs. Okay.
I'm sick of them too. I'm just sick of people begging all the damn time.
Yeah. You can actually.
Oh, we're begging. We're begging. I want you all to keep that in mind. We're beggars. Remember, we're lazy. We're beggars. Somebody type work hard in the chat room.
You walk down Baltimore and step in human feces, and it's generally from an FBA. Okay.
There you go. So, you know, just tell us how you really feel. The bottom line is, this is what we're dealing with. So there's racial animosity, or should I say intra-racial animosity, that exists between foundational Black Americans and Africans and Caribbeans. And so, you know, I want you to listen to this foundational Black American.
I'm pretty sure you're second or third generation immigrant saying that, if not first. And you are what we call a people of color worshiper. And I just want you to understand that we're not just talking about Hispanics. We're also talking about Caribbeans and Africans.
When it comes to who's getting sent home, why aren't Black Americans protesting? This young lady coins it perfectly.
All of you guys came here and said what you said. Now keep that same energy that you had for us and keep it for yourselves. So go stand on business. Work really hard. Don't be a victim.
Don't be a
Just
victim.
comply with ICE agents, and you know you should be fine.
Just comply. That's what you do. You said comply. You know, comply. Don't run. Don't run away when they come to pick you up. Don't run off. Don't run away now. Okay. And this is for everybody. Okay. It's everybody needs to understand.
So, public service announcement. People of color who come to this country as groups have chosen white supremacy over supporting ethnic Black Americans that permitted them.
And this lady, she uses the term ethnic Black Americans, and I like that too. It seems to be synonymous with foundational Black America, but it's just a way for Black people to denote, hey, we're not of African, we are of African descent, but we're not Nigerian, we're not Ghanaian. It denotes a whole unique and different culture, and it's nothing wrong with us doing that, okay? We're literally demonstrating or delineating between our ethnic group and others. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Or help them get here. We fought for all people to have an opportunity here. And because of that, America became this place where all these different groups were able to come and get success. What we didn't understand is that you guys were coming here to support white supremacy and used us as a transition class, but also used us and misused us. So as groups, we realized that we don't have any allies. And a lot of us are taking the cape off. Don't ask.
And that's very unfortunate. That is so very unfortunate. And I think I can speak on behalf of all of the foundational Black Americans and ethnic Black Americans who study this issue. We're very disappointed in many of the Caribbeans and the Africans who come to this country and pile on. You know, some of the disrespectful statements are just not cool. You know, you don't have any culture, blah, blah, blah. Our culture is so superior. Well, you know, you're welcome to go back to your culture.
Don't ask for support. Because honestly, the ones that would help you, like me, I used to be one of those people who get on a bus and go protest for you. We're the ones that are not helping you anymore. Some of us still have the cape on.
Yeah, see, I'm not gonna help. She's the type that would help. She seems like a nice lady. I'm not helping. Okay, I'm not gonna protest for you. Not out there. Shout out to my man, Del Monte Green Beans. Thank you so much. Look, I see one or two people doing most of the contributing, and I certainly do appreciate that. But hey, if you're learning something, let's not just put the burden on one person. Let's all try to contribute. I mean, it just says a lot more instead of having just one person contribute. We got 8 super chats. We got 8, and it's not late. I like to get to 20 before we get finished, okay? But nevertheless, thank you so much, Mr. Del Monte. But yeah, it'd be great if we can get more people to contribute to the super chat as opposed to just one person. But thank you so much. I appreciate you. Let's keep listening.
But those really aren't going to be the loudest ones. We're not helping you anymore. We took the cape off.
Cape's off.
Now, are there individual people that are good people who are allies and who are really supporters? Yes, but those are individuals and they're few and far between. They're not groups. That being said, you're not an ally just because you have Black friends or you married a Black person.
You are not, okay? Shout out to Stoic
Now,
Nomad.
I'm talking about Black American. I'm not talking about a Caribbean or African, because this includes Caribbean, African, Hispanic, and Asian. You're not an ally just because you're like, oh yeah, I think you guys are treated badly. If you are texturist, if you think that ethnic Black Americans have nappy hair and you think that dark-skinned people or people who are darker than you, whatever that might be,
Shout out to Black Martian.
if you think you accept them as opposed to celebrate their beauty, you're not an ally. For example, if you think you're doing somebody a favor by being friends with them because they're Black, you're not an ally. If you call
I noticed that there's a lot of that in the Somalian and East African community. Okay, just let's keep
somebody
listening.
who has kinky coily hair, dark skin, or certain types of features, if you make fun of it, or if you think oh, I'm better because I'm lighter, or because my hair's straighter, or because my nose is a certain way, or whatever, you're not an ally. Not an ally. If you say that's okay when somebody tells you they're Black American, you're not an ally. So just because you're cool with Black people doesn't mean you're an ally, or you're on code, or you're not racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you're not colorist. The reason why I know is because of my complexion and my hair. A lot of Hispanics mistake me for being Hispanic. And I hear the things they say to me. You have no idea how many people I've said, oh, I'm Black American too, who were Hispanic, and we're like, don't say that. Why would you say that? Why would you say that you're Black? I'm like, I'm proud of being Black.
Yeah.
And my thing is,
Let me say something to most of you all. Most of us foundational Black Americans, people who are raised in the culture, we're proud of being Black American. I would not want to be any other kind of Black other than Black American. I'm proud of my history. I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of what my ancestors have done. I'm proud of the fact that we went through the crucible of slavery, chattel slavery, and we came out the other side a better people. I'm very proud of that. If you can do well for yourself and be successful here in the United States as a person who's been here and whose ancestors have been here for centuries, then you know you're pretty tough stuff. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, we're proud of our country, and I don't interact with people who are disrespectful to foundational Black Americans. It's not cool, and it's incumbent upon all of us as FBAs to really begin to assert ourselves and let these folks know who we are. Shout out to Cody Marshall. Let's keep listening to this sister. And she refers to FBAs as ethnic Black Americans, which is for the most part equivalent. It denotes the same thing.
That like, so that's all I'm saying. So as groups, you guys have never been for us. You know, a lot, you want to take all of the things that you like about us, and then you don't want to have any deep conversations about everything that you like about us comes from our spirit and our struggle and the things that we have had to do to get to a certain place. So you want to take it and you want it for yourself, but then whenever there's a tough conversation, you don't want to have it.
Yeah, I find it very interesting that everybody wants Black Americans, and when I'm talking about the other minorities, they want Black Americans to step up and protest for them and jump in front of these freight trains that are coming for them. But, you know, at the end of the day, you don't like the fact that we're tough, that we'll fight. We will fight, okay? Not that we want to fight, but we will fight. This is what we do. Shout out to Norwal. And, you know, that's part of the culture. We would love to be a peaceful, loving people, okay? We would love to be able to do that. But unfortunately, we live in an environment where we are surrounded by institutional racism and all sorts of other things. And sometimes it's, you know, redneck in a pickup truck racism, and we have to deal with it. Shout out to Intricately Tangled. Thank you so much. And so this is part of the culture. This is how we're able to survive. And even our women are tough. You know, our women are strong for a reason. Now, sometimes we would not like our women to be as strong as they are, but the bottom line is they are a product of the culture. They have to be strong to exist in this environment, okay? Because they had to be strong. They had to be dominant, and I dare say masculine, because if they were just weak, dainty, and they would have fallen apart decades, centuries ago from the burden that they have had to share. So keep that in mind. It's the same, for the same reasons you hate us is the same reason that we're still here. All right. And that's what you need to understand.
So like, you want to dance like us. You want to rap like us. You want to sound like us. You want to sing like us. You want to look like us. You want to dress like us. But then when we want to have the conversation about who we are as a culture and what we're experiencing, all of a sudden you don't want to have the conversation. You're like, oh, it's too deep. I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that.
Go into that.
Too deep.
So you want, it's like, you want, like, it's like somebody making, you know, spending all day to make a feast, right? And they spend weeks getting everything that they go to the farm and they pick all the food, and they put all this work into making this food. And
I ain't going to the farm, baby. I'm gonna go down to the grocery store. But go ahead.
It's beautiful. And then you just want to come to eat and then leave. You want to come to eat, you eat, and then you leave. You don't bring shit. You
don't bring the cornbread, nothing. You don't even go down to the store and get a bottle of that Mad Dog 2020. You don't do anything like that. That's not helpful. Shout out to Mercer, Panama.
Don't come with nothing. Some of y'all might say thank you, and then you want to leave. And then we say, wait, if you're going to be eating our feast, then you need to understand everything it took for us to have these things. Like, I don't want to talk about that.
No, they just want to come over, get the scholarships, and go be a doctor. That's all they want. They just want to come over and use whatever DEI is left and just jump in front and say, I'm Black too. That's what they don't want to know the history of how you got it. They just here to get theirs and go. All right. That's all they want to do.
Well, it's a new day and a new era. A lot of us are taking the cape off. I hope the younger generation is too. Like, F y'all. Yeah. We're gonna do us. And that's that. And
we're gonna do us. And nobody seems to like the fact that foundational Black Americans are now delineating themselves from every other group. Okay, but here's the cold, hard, raw truth, and this is shout out to Elim, and this is what we have learned. Okay, and I know you all may not want to, address what I'm about to say right now, but this is what we really think.
Ship and came back over here and rescued one nigga since we left from Africa.
Excuse the language.
Yeah, and Africans don't like us.
I mean, excuse the language, but you all know the brother and you know how he is. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn my music up so I can mask this. I would like to keep this monetized. All right, let's listen to him.
Yeah, nigga, Africans don't fuck with us. They don't like us, and they stink.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
they some stinky people.
Oh
yeah.
Lord, I didn't say that. He said that. That's Charleston White said that. I didn't say that. YouTube. He said that.
Niggas, fuck Africa. Yeah, they ain't our people. We niggas, slaves, the descendants of slaves. They would never call no nigga.
Well, I would disagree with that, but the bottom line is what the brother is articulating is the sentiment that they have about us because that's the way they see us. Okay. Along with that term, also you have stuff like akata, which loosely translates, well, it's a racial epithet. Okay. But this is what they think about us. And he's right. They have not sent any ships over here to get us, but they have sent people over here to utilize the resources and capitalize on our advancements in this country.
Africans, only one generation. Now the first group came. They wasn't born into this shit. Me and your people was born into this, homie. They were born slaves. They birth certificates say nigga. They was born in Africa. They are not us. They know what tribe they come from. They had a language. Once they broke them from the language and we was born in these conditions. We ain't no Africans. We ain't no Hebrew. We nigga. Bottom line,
you all may find Charleston Whites, and shout out to Cody Marsh. Some of you may find Charleston White's delivery and language less than appealing, but I assure you that he speaks for the common man. Okay, I assure you he speaks the language of the common man. And we have to just recognize the fact that that is the sentiment that a lot of Black Americans, a lot of foundational Black Americans, ethnic Black Americans share. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. If they wanted us, they would come over here and they would have gotten us. They would have made a way for us to come home, but they didn't. You understand what I'm saying? And now we're at the point where we're like, well, we don't need them. We're going to go ahead and move on. And you see what's happening. Now, here's another video from another brother from Ghana who is basically talking about how Ghanaians are being sent home. Let's keep, and you don't hear an uproar.
Is a Black man does not appreciate.
Now, this brother has his own YouTube broadcast, and he's just basically going to talk about a Ghanaian man who's being sent home. So I'm going to skip ahead a little time.
Let's listen to the story.
ICE took a Ghanaian man convicted of sex crimes with a minor. They apprehended.
You hear that? So you're not coming over here building, you're coming over here doing dirt. You committed SA crimes, okay? Now, I want you to hear what this man has. So somebody type culture in the chat room. Shout out to Johnny Harris. Some type culture in the
Joseph Osai Boateng in a Columbus area prison last week. According to ICE, the 28-year-old entered the U.S. legally from Ghana in 2019. Back in October, he
just got here, 2019, right?
Pleaded guilty to multiple counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor.
So you got this grown man over here fooling around with some young underage person. It doesn't denote male or female. I'm assuming it's a female, but let's listen.
This person entered the United States legally. That is one. That means he's still holding the Ghana passport. So that is a permanent resident, a green card holder. Even though he is free, the mindset that most of these Ghanaians have in Ghana.
I want you to understand what this brother is. He is telling you about his culture, the same culture that they say is superior foundational Black American culture. Listen to what this brother has to say.
And that is why in the previous episode, I was talking about why we need to start thinking like it's 2025 instead of thinking we are still in the 1900s. that in Ghana you can do petty crimes. You can do even major crimes.
In Ghana, you can do petty crimes. In Ghana, you can do major crimes.
And families and rich folks will cover it up. Not here in America.
He's talking about how corruption allows people to get away with crimes in Ghana, but not here in America. And that has a lot to do with us, okay? As foundational Black Americans, we get regulated, and we also make sure we get justice when we have to.
And I think when we enter United States, we already know this. Because even in Ghana, you can pee on the street. You can do that here. You know that.
You can pee on the street. All you brothers and sisters who are going over to Ghana and going over to Africa, and you swearing up and down, this brother is, this Ghanaian Black man is telling you, you can pee on the street. Is this where you want to be? Is this where you want to? This is the motherland that we look up to, that they had us idolizing in the 1980s, and now people out there peeing on the street. I mean, I'm just saying, let's just keep listening to the brother. And I'm not saying it's all bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that's the sign. You got people coming over here thinking they can get away with doing all sorts of horrible crimes with minors even. Okay? And this is the sort of stuff to go, what else is going on over there?
You know that is not a country that you can just do whatever you want. But some way, somehow, this person entered legally with a permanent resident. And look at the fucked up shit that he decides to do.
Using language, I apologize.
Sleeping with minors.
Sleeping with minors. That's what they're doing when they're coming over. That's what this man did. Not this gentleman. I'm talking about the gentleman he's referring to.
Bet he's probably going to Ghana often. And so the minors in Ghana, 15, 16, that are so spoiled that they don't mind who they're sleeping with.
So now he's telling us, I mean, what I take from this conversation is this is par for the course. 15-year-old children, I'm assuming young women, being propositioned by grown men. Shout out to Dog Bones. I appreciate you, sir. And this is the superior culture. This is the superior culture. Let's keep listening.
Even younger than that do worse things in Ghana sometimes. And so he brought that mindset into the United States thinking he's allowed to do that here too, or he can do this secretly. Not allowed. I bet he knows he's not allowed to do that.
Of course he knows.
He just believed that he can do this secretly, that nothing will happen. As to how he got caught, I have no idea. But somewhere, somehow, here he is trying to fight for his existence, his residency.
Where all my Jamaicans at?
For those responsible for the brutal death of 72-year-old returning resident Loris Murray at her residence in Pyramid Heights in St. Anne.
Now, just for you all who know, some of you all have taken, now we went from Ghana, now we in Jamaica. So again, these are the folks that come to the United States and tell us that their culture is superior. We don't have culture here in the United States, and you know how, you know, they're ready to go home and how great home is. This woman who basically lived back east as a Jamaican woman, she lived back east for however many years, and she returned to home to St. Anne, which is I guess we would call it a parish or a county that is between Montego Bay and Ocho Rios. And she was living there, enjoying her life, enjoying her retirement, a retiring nurse. And let's hear what happened to her as she went home.
Her death dealt a major blow to her relatives, one of whom told CVM News exclusively it's likely she'll never return to Jamaica. 72-year-old retired nurse Loris.
72-year-old retired nurse. And you heard what the daughter said, I'm not even coming back to Jamaica after this. A 72-year-old retired nurse worked her whole life back east and went home, right? And then what happened?
Murray dreamed of spending her final days in Jamaica, her homeland and her vision of paradise after years in the cold up north. She bought her dream home, complete with neighboring lots, where she enjoyed tunes from her favorites, Beanie Man and Buju Banton, raising chickens and planting crops. But that peaceful life was shattered last Friday.
Mind you, this is 12 days old, so this just happened. Okay, this is not old news.
Saturday morning, she was found dead.
Approximately 7:48. Miss Loris Murray,
72 years old, retired nurse of Pyramid Heights Mortuary Center, was discovered dead by her help.
Fair use.
The police.
Somebody unalived this woman with an extension cord. The 72-year-old black woman who worked her whole life back east, returned back to Jamaica. Keep in mind, this is the culture that they're saying is superior to foundational black American culture. I want you all to hear that. Shout out to my man, Quantum Solace.
Was anointed and the scene was visited where the deceased was found in our living room with an electric cord wrapped around her neck.
The feeling is
An electric cord wrapped around her neck. Now you all saw those folk, okay? Those folk who were talking bad about foundational black Americans. This is the culture that they come from. And they're saying that this is superior to what we have here in the United States. All right. And these are the receipts. Right. This is what their own people are saying about it. I'm not saying anything. I'm just commenting. This is what their news broadcast and people from their countries are saying about their country and their culture.
It's very low. Very, very low. She was my good neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time she was here was the last week, Saturday.
Yes.
She came over here, was talking to me, asking me how I feel. I wasn't well. And she came back Sunday, come pick up some breadfruit from me.
Yes.
I put them on the wall and she come right in the garage to say many thanks. Very humble person. Every morning I used to see her come around the house.
Yes.
And then she come out on the roadway and sweep up and go in. I was told on Saturday morning after calling her and was unable to reach her, and also
Fair use.
unable to reach her by both text or voice mail. I was told on Saturday that she was found unresponsive.
Now this is her daughter who's trying to reach her mom. Unbeknownst to her, she had already been unalived. Keep listening.
In our home.
Her daughter flew in on Sunday, determined to support law enforcement in any way she can before possibly leaving Jamaica for good.
You don't know if, okay, I may have a car, but I'm sleeping on the floor. You don't know. You don't know if I'm going without food just to have that car. It cannot be acceptable. We become a nation of beggars and takers for something that we don't earn. And
We've become a nation of beggars and takers. And these are the people that say that their culture is superior to black Americans. I want you all to take all this in. These are the people who we allow to come to our country and disrespect us and talk poorly about foundational black Americans, and who tell us about our culture and how violent it is and all these sort of horrible things. And this is what's going on in these very same countries that they have fled from. I just want you to keep that in mind. And again, we're wondering why black Americans are not protesting. The question should be, how could you ask us to protest for you? That's what the question we should be asking. What makes you think you have, why should we risk our lives protesting for you to stay in this country? Especially the ones who commit crimes and the ones who are illegal. But keep listening.
It's sad. It is disgusting. Something has to be done.
2 vehicles owned by Miss Murray was missing from the premises.
Yeah.
One of which was recovered on Friday, which is a blue BMW motor car.
Here's another one. I want y'all to check this out.
Trying to go to the clinic.
Yeah.
It's closed.
So as you all know, right, Donald Trump has cut off all the aid that's going to these overseas countries. And that includes Africa. So this woman right here, I don't know what her occupation is, but whatever her occupation is, apparently she needs to go to the clinic and speak to somebody about something. I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't tell. There's no name tag on her garment. So I would be unable to tell you why she was going to the clinic. Okay, but nevertheless, she's going to the clinic. Let's listen to the conversation.
Are you trying to go to the clinic?
Yeah.
It's closed.
What happened?
I mean, the U.S. aid funding has been frozen, so they're closed.
Donald Trump said, no, more money for you, African folks. That's what it said.
Closing down clinics.
I don't know what to do. Serious.
Yeah.
What will I
depend on your own government? That's what you need to do. Okay. Because we, Black Americans who help pay taxes into the United States Treasury, have contributed enough money to folks everywhere around the world. And along with the rest of America, we are tired of doing it. And now your government is going to have to help you find a new clinic sponsored by your government, not us.
I do? There's nothing.
Clinics like this are a lifeline for people in this community, especially women suffering from HIV.
So that means that your government probably needs to take up the reins and provide that for these folk. Okay.
Now
That's
shut.
right. The question is, what's going on in your country right now, in your superior culture? Okay, because you talk so bad about our culture. What's going on in your culture that requires you to have this free money from the United States of America to get these clinics popping? That's what I want to know.
It's a huge disappointment for people just trying to stay alive.
Yes, they're trying to stay alive using our money. And see, that's the problem that we have right now. Okay, we have a problem with that right now. Okay, now, if that wasn't enough, okay, I want to explain to you all that this is not, let me say how I can say this. Africans have been on aid for a long time. Okay, listen to this.
US aid for over 60 years. And the moment the owners of
we have been on this, she's saying Africa, a lot of people, a lot of different countries in Africa have been dependent on US aid for 60 years. Listen to
the
that.
money say, let's take a 90-day pause that I audit where my money is going. Suddenly the whole country goes into a frenzy. And this should be a moment of reflection for Uganda and the African continent in general. We have been asking for a very long time to be liberated from colonialism, neo-colonialism. And now that the opportunity presents itself, for some reason, we are complaining. Because let's get something straight.
So America has been sending us lazy Americans. Somebody type lazy. All my Black folks, all my Americans, type lazy in the chat room. Lazy Americans. We lazy Americans have been providing a welfare check, apparently on a weekly or monthly basis, to multiple African countries for 60 years. All you lazy Americans out there, right, have been providing this welfare. And I'm specifically talking to the foundational Black America, the Black folk, all the regular Black folk who are from here. You lazy Black people and your tax dollars have been providing welfare checks to Africa for 60 years. Let's lay the foundation. Keep listening.
Often the money given to us in foreign aid is lost to corruption, misuse, depleted and overrated salaries to particular individuals, or sometimes we lose billions of money that are...
Okay, so what you're saying is the money's not actually going to go to the clinic. Okay, it's actually going to go to line some corrupt politician or dignitary's pocket. So let me correct that. It's not a welfare check, foundational Black Americans. Your hard-earned money that you earn, and they take 20 to 30% out of your check, is not going to help the ladies who may have some horrible disorder or disease. It's not going to feed the children. It's going to line some despot pocket and wallet. So that, of course, so he can go to Europe and have himself a Rolls Royce while you continue to be lazy and sitting on your couch. That's what is going on, apparently.
Unaccounted for. So it only makes sense that the donor is asking for an edit. And if that means pausing the amount of money coming in.
Yes, we are asking for an audit. That's what we're doing. We would like to know how many other welfare, because Africa's not the only one that's getting the welfare check from America. Okay, well, you're not the only one, but we want to know. Now, the question is this normal? Is this normal?
Germany was a recipient of aid after the Second World War.
Okay, it's not. It's normal. Germany got aid Germany got a welfare check from Africa. I'm sorry, Germany got a welfare check from America after their war. Okay, respect.
So was Japan. So was South Korea. So was Malaysia. Or even famous Singapore. They all received aid. But there's something special about them, which is they all, without exception, graduated from being aid recipients within 20 years.
Hold on a minute. So you telling me that all these other Japan, Singapore, they were taking a welfare check from America, but their culture of hardworking people, whatever, I'm not, maybe, because I know our African brothers and sisters wouldn't be calling us lazy, and they over there lazy, I know that. But apparently their whole government has been taking that welfare check for 3 times longer than these other countries. Is that what you're saying, sir? Because I don't know if I heard it. Let's run that back again. I want to hear him say that again. Let's hear it.
Which is, they all, without exception, graduated from being aid recipients within 20 years. By the time those 20 years were over, they were actually giving aid to other people.
They were giving back in 20 years.
But Africa, 60 years later, Africans are negotiating on a global stage the next form of aid they think they want to be getting.
Still begging. Somebody type still begging. Oh my God, really? Because it was my understanding that Black people are always begging. I thought it was foundational Black Americans that's always begging. Shout out to TIQ, because that's what they say. Don't they say we're lazy, we don't work hard, we always begging? So you telling me that these same people who are saying that foundational Black Americans are always begging, they're actually the ones doing the begging. Oh, wow, interesting. So
why is it that we are not able to graduate from aid?
Maybe it's your culture. Maybe that's what somebody type your culture in the chat room. It's the culture. Maybe that's it.
In the past, we used to blame colonialists. But today, the threat to African economies or destruction of African economies by Africans.
Oh, really? Wow. Oh, my. That's what's going on. Oh, accountability. Oh, wow. It's something else. Black girl.
The sabotage of our own economies by Africans is on the rise.
So the sabotage of your own economy. So you still begging because the culture that you say is superior to foundational Black Americans who've built over 100 historically Black universities, who dealt with over 250 years of chattel slavery, 100 years of Jim Crow, the war on drugs, the over-incarceration that we've had to deal with, redlining, being sent off to war. What else? General discomfort and pain. The gender war that's been ginned up by the media. And yet we are still able to have that. And we're lazy. Interesting. Very, very interesting.
And I think that we cannot keep making the same mistakes and expecting different outcomes.
No, we're going to cut you off. That's what's happening. We're just going to go ahead and cut you off and help you out. We got to wean you off that teat. Okay? You've been using the American dollar a little bit too long. We want you to go ahead and show us how hard working you are. Somebody type work hard.
For better results. We need to get our act together. I think it's possible for Africa to rise, but it won't do so.
Are you going to be able to rise with that culture though? I mean, I'm just asking for a friend, but it sounds to me you got some culture issues over there. You've been begging for 60 years and these other countries were able to get out of there in 20 and give back. You might need to, I don't know, you need to work harder. I think
until we get organized and we work differently.
Yes, you need to work harder. That's what it appears to me. It seems to me like you need to work harder. Okay, let's keep listening to what these good folk have.
I wish I could go back into time and change what I got my degree in. I wish I would.
This little lady, she put this on the internet, and she is a first generation African lady. And she is now saying that, she fell into a trap. She didn't get the education that she should have got.
Got my degree in like something within the medical field, or got my.
So you didn't get a STEM degree. That's what you're telling me.
Law degree or something of that sort, right? And I'm not trying to put myself down to say
We're not trying to put you down, baby. We're not at all. Okay, we're not Well, we're listening to you.
Chose to do was not good enough because there are so many people who I know with that degree.
But you weren't able to do well with your mass media degree. Is that what you tell them? Somebody type mass media in the chat room.
That are doing so well. But unfortunately, my story is not similar. Like being Nigerian American makes you feel even more inadequate.
You feel inadequate because you didn't get that medical degree. That's what you're saying. You just turned into a Black American. Is that what happened? Being over here? Is that what happened, baby? You came over here and got soft. Is that what you said? But baby, your parents will probably tell you need to work harder. You can go back to school. You can go back to school. Tell your daddy, I'm going to go back to school because, hey, I did not work hard enough in college. And now I need to go get a medicine degree. That's what you need to do, baby. That's what you need. Shout out to Quantum Science.
What you already are. Because so many of my fellow Nigerian American peers are doing so well. Yeah. They are thriving. Everyone is just extremely well off.
And they should be thankful that foundational Black Americans provided that opportunity. Now, just because you didn't capitalize on the opportunity provided by foundational Black Americans, that doesn't mean the other people did. But you got to know where it came from, okay? You have that, you got to know where it came from. And I want to make sure you understand that. So basically what we've learned is it can't be work hard. It's got to be something more than just working hard, because clearly these people who work hard over in Africa, right? Clearly when they come over here, they a lot of them work hard, but it doesn't seem like all of them are working hard. Now, here's another person who's first generation.
Ice raids really got my heart breaking out here.
Really?
It's crazy because like my mom.
Why? Why has it got your heart breaking? Go ahead. Why? Tell us why.
And even like people that I work with kept telling me how like there's no one outside, like no one in the trains, no one in the schools, and like it's just so many families being broken apart, and it really breaks my heart because it's like being in Africa.
Well, let me say this. That's because on the East Coast, sweetness, baby girl. Let me explain. So, because we outside down here in Texas. Down here in Texas, the Black folks here in Texas and Atlanta and Alabama and Mississippi, we outside, okay? If you in Arkansas, North Carolina, South Carolina, Oklahoma, we outside. But you folk up there in New York and New Jersey and Philadelphia, y'all are people who came to this country from the Caribbean and Africa. That's where y'all wanted to go. Y'all wanted to go to New York. You see what I'm saying? New York, that's where you wanted to go. A lot of the rappers are from New York. All of that Caribbean degenerate rap coming out of New York. You know what I'm saying? Like Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim, right? Shout out to Andrew Baker. Yeah, that's y'all. That's why y'all can't come outside, because they know y'all don't have your papers straight. You see what I mean? But down here in real Black America, in the dirty South, we coming outside. We outside every day. We barbecuing. You know what I'm saying? We having a good time. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Let's keep listening.
A child who has immigrant parents, like they really.
Yes, you have immigrant parents. That's why they're not outside.
They left their lives behind to start a new future for their future families.
But they just need to work hard. All they need to do is keep working hard and comply. Keep on working hard. And that's what it is.
I'm just extremely grateful for that. Like obviously, I made the most of it in the best way that I could.
Good for you.
My heart just goes out to those.
And you should thank foundational Black Americans that your parents were even allowed to immigrate to this country. Okay, that's the thing you need to understand. And see, now that you're about to experience that loss, okay, maybe this will help you understand what we had to go through. Because, I don't know if you know this, but foundational Black Americans have had to suffer the separation of families. I don't know if you know that, but there was a time a few hundred years ago where our families had to be separated. And I'll tell you something else about my personal history. So I had my great-great-great-grandmother. Her name was Liza. And she was married, quote unquote, married to a Black man named Riddick. And unfortunately, she was an enslaved person. Isn't that what they like to tell you, Mystic Media, Medica? And she was an enslaved person. I wouldn't want to get accused of teaching that, that Black History stuff and Black History Month because it's been canceled. But so she was an enslaved person, a female type woman, Black woman. And the slave owner, okay, who's, we'll just call him, Captain Jones. We'll call him Captain Jones. He's got a book out that was written by his descendants. So he would dip into the slave quarters and he would impregnate my great-great-great-great-grandmother. Okay, at the same time, she was married to this Black man. And so the children were born. Sometimes they would be for the husband. Sometimes they would be for him. Okay. And I can only imagine what my foundational Black American grandmother and grandfather had to deal with in that plantation in Yallowbush, Mississippi, with this man who is the owner, and you can't tell him what to do because there was a law out called Plessy versus Ferguson. It says that, a Black man has no right that a Black woman, a white man has to honor. And this was the law of the land. Okay. But my strong my lazy, non-hardworking, foundational Black American ancestors fought and fought and fought. And by 1955 and 1965, actually, we put together some laws and some rights that said, you know what? Hell with that. We've dealt with this for over 300 some years. And we're not going to take it anymore. And we're ready to take to the streets and do something about it. And so then guess what? Miraculously, Africans and Asians and Native Americans and Latinos began to come to this country. So they didn't have to deal with what my great-great-great-great-grandmother had to deal with. Y'all put her name in the chat room. Liza Riddick. Put her name in the chat room. Remember, say her name. Liza. Now, her real name was Elizabeth. But, they had a way of chopping up people's names. Liza, Liza Riddick. That was my great-great-great-great-grandmother. And these are the things that I'm finding out. So, but we'll go ahead and let you talk about the inconvenience that you're having to deal with right now.
Families that are just being like all broken up due to our president.
Yeah, broken up due to our president. Oh, yeah. Right. You did have a choice. Your parents did have a choice of coming over here. You know what I'm saying? You did have a choice. And see, there's a lot of reasons why foundational Black Americans are really just not feeling this whole victim mentality, especially because y'all always tell us that we're victims. You see what I'm saying? And so we not really
any victim talk for people who are going through these ICE raids, because I distinctly remember when ethnic Black Americans were going through things, people of color kept saying that we need to stop being victims, that these non-melanated people were nice to them, they don't know what we're talking about, and we're always being victims. So now I want you to take
you tell us all the time, these white people, these non-melanated, these are nice to us. They're all nice to us. I don't know what's wrong with you foundational Black Americans, you ethnic Black Americans. You don't know what you're talking about. Oh my God. What's wrong with you? Okay.
Advice. You're not victims, and these people are nice to you. They're your friends.
They're nice to you, aren't they? They're nice to you. They're nice. Isn't that right? Yeah. They're different. Slavery's over. Get over it. Mm-hmm. You see, isn't that what they tell you? Work harder. If you just worked harder, you wouldn't have all these problems that you're having right now. If you just worked harder. I find that very interesting. You see? To me, I find it very interesting. And the odd thing is there's a lot of Africans and people of African descent who are not really cutting you all any slack.
I became an American citizen in June of 2021. And in April of 2022, I made a decision to go back home to spend some time with my mother, who at the time was battling breast cancer. Remember that I came to America at the age of 19. But in order for me to return home as an American citizen, I had to apply and...
You came here at the age of 19. Okay, good. To utilize the resources and everything that we set up.
Pay for a visa to go back to my home country. Now think about that. I needed permission to go back to my home country. I could not...
I'm gonna say this, like, okay, if you all work so hard, why can't you work hard in your own country? I mean, I'm just asking, just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there. If you all are so hardworking and you're not lazy, right? Why can't you take that same skill set and do that in your own country instead of coming to the United States of America? Why can't you just work hard and build up your own country? Why do you come over here? I'm just asking. I just want to throw that out because, see, I didn't run. You see, I didn't run away from the United States, as difficult as it's been, and, you know, growing up in the hood, you know, where ghetto, all that, right? I didn't run away. I could have. There's plenty of places I could have gone, but I stayed here and worked hard, you know? And I know you all think I'm lazy. You think all of us foundational Black, I mean, you don't even really think we're Black, but, you know, you definitely don't think we're African. But why didn't you all stay in those countries that you, because I mean, the question of the night is, why aren't Black Americans protesting for the thousands of Africans and Caribbeans being deported? That's the question. Okay. And I'm trying to help people understand why we're not protesting, because a lot of people may not understand why Black Americans have been apathetic to the situation. We just are not moved to do so, you know? And I want people to, this is about understanding. Let's keep listening.
Make the claim that because I was born there, I had every right to be there without proper documentation. So here I am with a Ghanaian name.
So he's pulling it. He's wanted to pull you. Just comply. You hear what he said? Just listen to the police and do what I did, right? It just, you know, and you'll be fine. So you're one of those pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Probably hadn't had that American Negro wake up call yet, because, see, I don't think he understands that even if you do have your paperwork, there's still a process that Donald Trump and his attorney general is going to push to try to denaturalize people who've even been here, even if you got a green. And we're going to talk about that. We're just getting warmed up. I don't know if y'all are ready for this. Just getting warmed up. Let's keep listening.
But with an American passport, seeking permission to go home to visit my ailing mom. Fortunately, I arrived on time to spend my mom's last few days with her. The reason I bring up this story is that people make the argument that just because you've been in this country illegally for a very long time, that somehow that should earn you an American citizenship, that somehow that should give you a reprieve from our laws and a place in front of those who have done it legally.
You one of us now, right? Or one of our laws. Okay.
One of the reasons why we come here as immigrants is because we believe in the rule of law, and we're hoping to raise our families in a place where the law protects you rather than oppress you. So for all those people who want us to disregard our laws in the name of compassion, think of the thousands of people who are American citizens today who have to pay money to get visas to go back to their home countries. That is the essence.
The American citizens, this is our country.
Of respecting the rule of law and not claiming some privilege to walk across any border just because you think you have a good excuse for it.
But let me be clear that for those Jamaicans who intend to come back with crime and violence to undermine what we have been building here, let me be clear to you that this is not the Jamaica that you left 10 or 20 years ago. It is not the JCF that you left 10 or 20 years ago. You will either meet a judge or your maker if you come back to Jamaica and violate our laws and create havoc. I know that there are many who will be returning to Jamaica, coming back to lovely communities like these, rural areas like these, and they may attempt to set up gangs, get involved in scamming, and undermine the values of the communities that they return to. We will not tolerate that. We want all our Jamaicans to always feel that they have somewhere to come back to and call home and be well received. Come back with a good heart and a good mind. Come back willing to work. Come back with your resources.
You guys who don't know, this is basically the Prime Minister or President of Jamaica talking to the deportees who are being sent back, saying, look, don't come back here with that effery, okay? Because we'll put one in you and lay you down. This is what you have to tell these folk when they're coming back. So let's keep listening. Back to the superior culture, though. That's what I want you, the superior culture that's superior to foundational Black American culture. That's what I want to drive home here.
You will be able to make life here, but don't come back here to undermine.
Where they gonna go? If they don't come back, where you think they're gonna go? Where they gonna go? They gotta. They're going there. They're going to Gitmo, El Salvador. They coming back.
What we have built, the government is already planning in terms of putting in place new measures, enhanced security measures to address those who we know have a criminal past or who have been interdicted in the United States, convicted in the United States, and are being returned after serving their criminal penalties there. And we will ensure that they are appropriately monitored here and that they are not in any way contributing to.
You got to watch them. You got to watch your own people. You got to watch them. Come on, let's keep
increase in our crime or murder rate. We have sacrificed long and hard. The people of Jamaica have borne the negative impacts of local violence. We will not tolerate criminals coming back here.
Because you got a lot of them there, apparently, based on the video we saw earlier, you got a lot of them there already, okay, who are unaliving people who are returning, apparently.
Increase our crime rate or murder rate. It is on a downward trajectory. We're doing very well, and we will not allow this to happen.
All right, well, that's good for you. Kudos for you, Mr. Prime Minister. And my thing is this, it's not just here in the United States.
A nation of Caucasian.
I want you to now look, I don't know this fella, okay? I don't know this fella here, but we would have a name for him in the United States, but this is Great Britain. So apparently the same people that have been coming over here telling us we don't have culture here in the United States are telling us foundational Black Americans, our culture is lacking and we're lazy, also going to places like Great Britain. And so this person is apparently the shadow speaker of Great Britain. He's speaking from the shadows, okay, on behalf of the whites. And this is what he's saying. Let's listen to what he's saying.
I want England to be a nation of Caucasian heritage people. Just like if I go to Saudi Arabia, I want to see Saudi Arabians. If I went to China, I want to see China. Okay. England's not in
Shout out to Chocolate Cosmos. Listen to this man. This man is I've been to Britain like once. Okay. I ain't like the food. It was kind of cold. Not really my place to go. I've been heading other places since then. But let's listen to this.
In what, 10, 20 years time, it's not going to be Anglo-Saxon Caucasian heritage anymore.
Listen what he's scared of. He's scared. Listen to what he's afraid of now.
It's going to be people who look like me, and that's not going to be a good thing. Why?
Now, I don't know what country this man is from, but he is clearly not a foundational Black American. Okay, I don't know where he's from, but he is very afraid of his own people showing up in Great Britain and messing up whatever he got going on over there. Or he don't want to be surrounded by his own people. Sir, what about your culture? What about the culture? I mean, sir, I thought you had this superior culture because, you know, when I went to the UK, they was like, oh, you're American, all cool. All right, mate. I'm like, all right, yeah, man, get off me. I was a little too loud for Britain because, you know, I'm from Texas. So I was a little loud, but they were very, you know, I needed a little bit more salt and seasoning on my food. But they were pretty nice to me when they found out I was a Black American. I don't know why, but you know, I don't know. Okay, you have that. Shout out to my man Rodney E.
Why isn't that a good thing? Because they're going to be bringing in an inferior culture.
Hold on a minute. Inferior culture? You don't want them over there because they're bringing in an inferior culture? Maybe I didn't hear that right. Somebody type.
Isn't that a good thing? Because they're going to be bringing in an inferior culture.
Hold on a minute. Now, I've been told that our culture here in the Black folks in America, our culture is horrible. That's what I was told. Okay. But it seemed to me your people are overseas in a whole nother country telling the whites that your culture is inferior. Wow. Wow. So maybe it's not that we don't work hard. Maybe it's that you don't work hard. I'm just thinking, maybe it's you're lazy. I don't know, because you've been on welfare, you've been receiving money from USAIDs for 60 years, and you know, you got your prime minister on the internet saying, don't come back here with that blood clot foolishness. So maybe it's not us, maybe it's you. Again, we're trying to figure out, why is it that Black Americans are not protesting when you have all of our people, all these Africans and Caribbean folk, being deported? Surely we should be out in the street. We can understand why foundational Black Americans wouldn't be out there protesting for Latinos. They're not our people. But why would they not be protesting for Africans and Caribbeans? You know, because we were already saying they're not there, you know, they don't have a why? I don't know. But let's continue to listen to we'll just call him Uncle Ruckus. That's a good name for him.
What do you do to stop the small boats? I'd militarize it. I'd tell the military nobody lands on the beach. Get the military to stop it, and I'm sure.
So he's saying, I don't want none of my people coming up here. Put the military on the beach. Okay, put the military on the beach and don't let none of my people land on the beach. They floating up there on the beach, Uncle Ruckus. Golly, they floating up there on the beach. Boy, the Black Shadow said they are floating up. He don't want his people there.
Well, they could. How do you think they go about stopping it, though? No boat lands on the beach.
By any means necessary. This is like a Uncle Ruckus style Malcolm X. By anything.
Boats would land on. Does that mean sinking them? Whatever's necessary. If there's like kids, women on the small boats, they should.
Women and children. Oh, you don't want none of them here. Golly.
Still be sunk.
This is what your culture produces.
No boats would land on the beach.
No boats. This is what your people are saying about you, and you apparently, according to your own people, your culture is inferior. Apparently, I mean, what do? I mean, I don't know. What would I know? Okay, I mean, how would I know this? It's not anything I know. I'm just saying this is what's being said. Now, again, you know, we're gonna keep talking, and we're gonna get to where we need to get to, and you know, here's another
customs enforcement.
Fair use. Now, this is a
Thank you for staying with us.
Picked up. Apparently, right now, there are 3,690 Nigerians listed and ready to be deported. That's what we're doing. 3,690. Shout out to Quantum Solace. All
This week, about 3,690 Nigerians in the United States were revealed to be facing deportation as President Donald Trump continues crackdown on illegal immigrants in the country. According to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Removal Operations, the agency revealed the data is broken down by nationality and number of people faced with deportation. In the document titled Non-Citizens on the ICE Non-Detained Docket with Final Orders of Removal by Country of Citizenship.
So you're not supposed to be here and you're about to get sent home. That's basically what's apparently happening.
Mexico and El Salvador top the list of nations facing the most deportation. I still have Justice Ojina with me, and of course Olufemi Loss is still standing by. Justice, Nigeria ranks second in Africa for deportation numbers, followed by
right behind Somalia.
Now, how worrying is this following Trump's MAGA mantra, you know, sweeping across the United States?
If I have to don the heart of the people who are being deported, I would say it's most unfortunate. It is practically like a Category 7 earthquake, changing what their trajectory and plans for lives have been. A lot of them.
He's basically saying this is changing their trajectory of life. They thought they were going to be able to stay here forever. Okay, that's what they thought.
And if we remember the way our people migrate to some of these countries, they of course they die at sea, and unfortunately so sometimes. And for some of them, it's because they are overstaying, whatever.
They're overstaying their visas. They're breaking the law.
Visa it was that they used to get there legally, but having said this on their part and the kind of pains that they or the people who depends on them may be going through at the moment, I must also speak on the side of the law.
So basically, a lot of people who come over here use their resources and they send the money back to their home country, and they finance, they pay for things that people need. They do that, and so these countries actually benefit from having their people stay here illegally. So there's an incentive for these countries, and of course, our governors realizing this, and they saying you got to go home, and on top of that, we're going to stop your ability to send money home if you're an illegal immigrant. Let's keep listening.
It's wrong for any Nigerian to want to go to another country. It doesn't even have to only be the United States and want to overstay there. It's also wrong for anybody to come into Nigeria and want to overstay in flagrant disregard of our laws. So I must say that, but having also said this.
He's saying we enforce our laws too, okay? We're gonna send you home too. Now listen, I want you to listen to this. This is very interesting.
On the part of the United States of American government, do it with dignity.
Okay.
Hold on a minute. Do it with dignity. He's basically saying, don't send them home in handcuffs. Don't send them. But they committed crimes. Did you just see the dude who apparently was essaying a young girl? And you said we got to put our pilot on the plane, and we can't have these people in handcuffs, and we just got them out the penitentiary? No, they going back in handcuffs. That's the most dignity they deserve. They come to our country, they overstay their visa, they commit crimes. You going back home like in handcuffs.
They're sending the Nigerian. Yeah, I don't think the Nigerian state should fight it. And I also feel that no government of the world actually fought it. What people had an issue with, what they were talking about.
Colombia fought it, and so did Mexico until they got hit with some tariffs. That's what happened. Then they said, no, we'll let them in.
About was the government of Colombia.
Okay.
And what the government of Colombia was saying was that do not just bring them like pieces of meat, like at least animals.
Show some decorum.
No, we put you in handcuffs. That's that basic black man treatment that you're getting. That's what, I don't know a black man yet who ain't been put in handcuffs by the police. Hell, I've been put in handcuffs by the police. So it is what it is.
Level
of respect for the country.
Some level of dignity.
Okay.
Do not bring them in handcuffs.
Yes.
Yeah, it may be satisfying your political whatever ends that you want.
Well, it's everybody's getting put in handcuffs and sent home. You're a criminal. You stay over here, you commit a crime, you get out of jail, ICE picks you up. Don't take it personal.
But in the issue of the handcuffs, Donald Trump was quite emphatic about some of the immigrants being crime committers in the country. A lot of them are drug peddlers and all of that. And he did.
This is who we sending home. All these people from these superior cultures, right? All these folks from these superior cultures coming to our country, committing crimes, and then their government and their officials are angered because we're sending them home in handcuffs. Let's just think about that for a minute.
See, quite a number of them are criminals. So if he decides to treat them like that, I mean, is he not justified anyway?
There should be a difference between political speak and government speak.
Okay, let me hold your thought there. Let me get Olufemi quickly. As a country blessed with abundant resources over the years, where did we fail to get it right? And with how complex it gets by the day, is there hope in sight?
Listen to this.
See a lot of people running
in the ICE
raids. And I want to share with you guys what you told us when ethnic Black Americans were struggling with the police. I want to share the same things that you told us. Please comply. Yeah. Please follow the officer's instructions. You should not run at all.
Don't run.
You should let justice and...
Isn't that what they tell us not to run? Right? We should comply. It must be a reason that the police are unaliving Black men and Black women because we didn't comply. Isn't that what they tell us?
The legal system
give them that same information.
The legal system will take care of that. So it's very important that you comply and do what the officers tell you to do. There should be no running.
Don't run. No, you shouldn't run. Don't run. Okay? You should comply.
Yo! Hands, motherfucker, hands! Don't even try it. Nice hiding spot. Bad attempt. Yo, hands on the...
Put your hands up.
Turn around.
Put your hands up.
Turn around on your stomach.
Comply.
On your stomach.
That's what they tell them. You heard the little girl say that.
Put your...
They coming in there and they grabbing them and sending them home. Okay.
English, please, sir. Yo, and I soon find out English here. That me I tell him.
My bottom man tell him, you ain't bad with them handcuffs on. Don't worry. We'll call the consulate and tell them that you weren't treated with dignity. Okay, that's what we'll do. Call them and tell them that.
Yo.
You're out of here.
You're on reach number, please. Reginald, you're reach number, please. Talk to me now. Talk to me now.
Oh, you speak English now. Hold on.
Yo, Reginald, you're reach number, please.
No, we don't know what you're saying. Y'all hit the number one button. Yeah, just work harder. Somebody type work harder in the chat room.
Racism and a lot of y'all immigrants. You know that?
Tell them, baby.
Racist like that. I really didn't. I'm talking about like y'all saying things like, oh well, y'all next. I'm talking about
That's what they saying. Isn't that something? That's what they saying. They want us to be next. Shout out to all my black folk who were born here and been here for years. Go ahead.
We next. Want to deport y'all to Africa next.
That's what they say.
Okay. But as long as y'all made it seem like white people was just the most racist people in this country, oh no. Y'all take them okay. I find it kind of hard to believe, especially considering had it not been for my ancestors.
Tell them.
Immigrants wouldn't even be allowed over in this country.
It sure wouldn't.
You know, civil rights and whatnot. Most of us already knew that Trump, he knew exactly what he was doing when he was going to bring 14th Amendment and birthright citizenship to the Supreme Court. He knew it was going to get blocked. What's even more interesting is how they'll finally figure out what exactly it meant and who it was for. And oh, when they do, all of you racist people who have just been completely disrespectful.
Yeah, somebody type Akata in the chat room. All my Akatas, type Akata in the chat room. So we know who we know who we talking about. All my foundational black Americans, type Akata in the chat room. That's what they call us when we're not around. Just go ahead.
To us, because you're getting deported, you're gonna wish you.
We Akatas, we gonna be here in America. We're gonna be right here in America, and you're gonna go be back to your superior culture over there. That's where you're gonna go, right? Since you want to separate yourself and bring out your little flags and tell us how we don't have culture and tell us all of what's wrong with it. Us Akatas are gonna be over here. We're gonna be right here in the United States, in America, in our homeland. Y'all gonna get a chance to go back to your homeland and work hard and be superior over there. Because remember, all you have to do is just work hard. That's what you told us, right? Just work harder.
Why is ICE coming to these work sites?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, share with you what you guys told ethnic Black Americans.
Tell them what they told.
It's really important not to be lazy in America. If you have a great work ethic, everything will be just fine. As long as you work really hard, you'll be just fine. ICE will not bother you if you're working hard. So if they're at your work site and they are taking you away or your friends away, you have to work harder. Somebody knew you were lazy, and you can't be a criminal. So either if they're taking you away at the work sites, or you either were a criminal or you were just lazy. And in this country,
that's what it was. But see, now you get a chance to work harder in your home country, okay? Because since we are lazy. And, because that's what you all say about us. Since we're lazy, just work hard.
Really strong work ethic, and you have to work really hard. So, I'm sorry if this stings a bit, but you can't be lazy in America. You got to work really hard.
You gotta work
if you see
hard.
the ICE agents coming and they're kind of running towards you, all you have to do is just work a little harder, and they'll just pass you up, and they'll just go to the next person.
They will work.
So just make sure that you work really hard, have a good work ethic, and don't be a criminal, and comply. Don't run.
Don't run, comply. That's what
5,000 plus Jamaicans, they on the removal list from the United States by ICE.
Okay.
5,000 away, they on the list.
They got 5,000 on the list. That's what he's saying. 5,000. Go ahead.
One of the things say, we exempt. You think the Spanish people, them alone, them want to get out of the country? They want to make a sad mistake for the things that we exempt. Me don't know about you watching this video, but me right now, I have no concern because I have been on my best behavior since I've been in this.
They still might get you though, brother. If you don't have what I want you to understand is they coming for everybody. The only people that are safe in this country is us Akatas. Okay, y'all hear me? Only people that are safe is us the ones of us who don't know who our tribe is, don't know what country we're from, us Akatas, we're safe. You not safe. You got a country to go home to. Donald Trump and Tom Homan are going to do their best to send you back to that country that you're from. You understand what I'm saying? Like they are literally tricking people into signing these forms that give up their green card status. They abandon it. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to do their best. So you're not safe. Don't get comfortable. Okay. Maybe you should go hang out with them Haitians in that little church up in Ohio and pray. Maybe you should do that. None of y'all is safe. That's what I see. This is, I know you all tell us that racism doesn't exist and your friends, you know, that aren't melanated like you, but I think this might be a time that we're dealing with racism. And so they're probably targeting you. And like out of all the videos I've done, I've only seen one instance of one white person being sent home. I literally see white people on the internet saying, I'm illegal. I'm not going home. Yeah, because, you know, even though y'all say racism doesn't exist, it kind of does. You know what I mean? So they're going to be targeting you along with the brown people, right? So just keep that in mind. I just want you to just think about it. But we Akatas, we're going to be here. We not us slave pickers, cotton pickers. We're going to be here. Y'all going to go home, and we're going to be here in America being lazy and not working hard. Praise God. Keep listening.
Country.
Uh-huh.
Can you say the same?
Yes, I can. I'm going to
Can you say the same?
Mm-hmm.
You start shit on your poop yet? If not, you probably should be shitting on your poop at this very moment.
All of y'all,
especially if you know so you left Jamaica with your dirty living and you bring it come off.
There's a 1-800 number, okay? And if somebody calls it on people, they will have you deported within 7 hours. So before you even get a chance to prove something, they're gonna have you locked up. That's what I'm trying to help you understand, sir. That's it.
The people them not ramped on.
They're not rampant on.
Not rampant on.
They're not, man.
When they can't say what they want to say about Donald Trump, and trust me, I am not in support of Donald Trump whatsoever.
I am in support of Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump, and I am happy that he is doing the things that he said he was going to do. I want my low taxes, and I want the crime to go away, and I want the borders to be secure. So yes, I supported Donald Trump, okay, because I didn't really have anything that to worry about as far as some of the stuff that you all are worried about. So yeah, and there are a lot. Did you know that 21% of black men supported Donald Trump? Now, see, a lot of folks who don't have citizenship, they couldn't vote. But those of us who did vote, we voted. We like a strong military because many of our forefathers who go back hundreds of years served in the military. I always tell people I have two brothers who are members of the United States Marine Corps. Shout out to the Marines who are in here. I have cousins who are in the Navy. I have cousins who are in the Army. My grandfather was a Marine. My uncle was a Marine. My other uncle was in the Army. Vietnam veterans. I got a couple of those. And so, you know, we're about that patriotism thing. You know, we really are. You know, we fought for this country and we put skin in the game. And I pay a lot of taxes. So when you put your kids in the school that my kids go to, that means that the money that I've already paid to help keep that school and maintain that school and pay for the teachers and buy all the supplies and the resources and computers and stuff to make it modern, and your kids just show up, right? And you just put your kids in there, and guess what? Now the resources that were set aside for my kids and the other parents who've been paying into that school for decades, centuries, they have to share with your kids. And we kind of don't like that. As Americans, we kind of want you all to be, you know, sent back to your country, and you can make your country great again, right? Let's make Ghana great again. Let's make Jamaica great again. You know what I'm talking about? Let's make Nigeria great again. How about we do that? I'm just saying.
But Donald Trump is no punk, but
no,
we shall see. I mean, I'm telling you, all no fun gonna get catch. I go set up them staging area outside of the dance hall on Friday and Saturday nights.
Yes.
And I saw no fun go get catch because they can't turn on the.
Yeah, they're gonna come get you at the dance hall too. So they coming to churches, they are coming everywhere they can to get everybody. Here's somewhere else you shouldn't go to, just so you know, because I'm here I'm helpful. I'm just somewhere else. Because remember, we got that inferior.
Undocumented immigrants, please don't be going on any flights. Domestically, international, don't be going on any flights. I'm not sure if you guys saw yesterday, a Canadian citizen posted a video. She looked Hispanic. She posted a video that she entered Miami International Airport. It's in one of my reposts. She entered Miami International Airport and she scanned her face and she was directed to go to an immigration office.
We got scanners now. It's no longer them looking at the little passport, making sure. No, we scanning now. We doing retinal scans now. Shout out to everybody with that TSA pre-check and that clear. Shout out to everybody who gets through that airport in 10 minutes. Drop me off at the curb, bam, I'm sitting at the gate 10 minutes later, passing up all the poverty people. I'm been going through the pimp line. I'm talking about, no, I'm good, baby. Just scan my eyes. I'll be right there with you. Let me take my glasses off so you can see me. Yeah. Shout out to all that TSA pre and clear, baby. You can see me, but you're going to see me going through that line. Yeah.
Officer, she did. She handed them her passport. They did not look at it. They proceeded to ask her what's her immigration status, how long she was out of the country, all those questions. And she's like, I'm Canadian. He asked her how long have she been in Canada. She was born in Canada. But again, the way
Canadians are white. Okay, that's what he's saying. Canadians are white, and you were clearly a Latina. So you can go onto that line over there with those Venezuelans and Colombians. That's what I'm trying to. They hemming them up in the airport.
She looked and the way she spoke, they profiled her. They put her in a room with other Hispanic women.
So remember the racism that you said didn't exist? It actually probably does. Okay, that's the racism that you said we were making up because we're victims, right? All of us foundational Black Americans, we're victims. And now you're having an opportunity to, kind of experience, but you can't say you're victims. You don't want to say that because that's what you were telling us we were. All you folks who come here from these different countries, African descent with the superior culture and food and your culture and all that. So go ahead. And let's see your culture work through this. I want to see how that
lot of other persons who were coming from a work trip, all those persons were being processed to be deported. These persons have work permits. So if you are an undocumented person, please, I'm asking you,
an
don't be
illegal
going
alien, ma'am. That's what our president called. If you're an illegal alien, not undocumented, illegal alien. Okay.
On any flights, no bother with it.
Yes. Don't bother with it. Don't get on no flights. Don't take buses, planes, trains. You don't take flight. That's what she's telling you. You ain't got to wait.
Because it's it's crazy. I'm not sure if you guys seen, but they fired the director for TSA. They fired him yesterday.
Yeah, here goes somebody else who has something to say. Y'all want to
snap real quick. So if you're working at a job that
hold on a minute. You work for ICE and you out here telling people, is that look at his uniform. You out here working for ICE and you giving the lowdown?
Does not do a full background check on any undocumented that they are hiring. Do not.
So you saying if don't go to take any job from any employer that's not given a full background check. That's a lot of information. Okay. All right.
Let's go to that job unless you have a work permit. All right. Because you do not want to be a part of the collateral. When them come for who them are come for that is on the list. Don't let them tell you nothing. All these raids are targeted raids. But if you is in their presence, undocumented, them are gonna pick you up too. They're not gonna leave you.
No,
so even if
they
come for who them are come for and then get who them are get that you're there, they're not going to turn a blind eye, Virgin. You are gonna get picked up too. You understand me? They are not randomly going door to door and knocking on anyone's door randomly. It is targeted. So either somebody that was on the list was living there before them give that address and them go there and look for that person. But them not randomly just come at everybody else and knock. So no, it is targeted for now. Things will change after them fulfill when them are fulfilled. But for now, everything is targeted. Your receipt, make sure you walk with your receipt everywhere you go. So if you go up on the road, have your receipt in your wallet, your bag, your purse, anywhere where you can have that receipt. Either your marriage base, asylum, VAWA, you name it. Have that receipt on you. Because that alone can help you right now. But yeah, if you're in removal, they will be coming. If you have any crime by your name, they're coming. Even DUI, they're coming. So wanna just be safe out there when you not do anything. And again, they are not going into school and taking out your undocumented child. And
yes, they are. You late. All right,
that was a rumor.
Late, brother. It's not true.
Crying. Oh.
Now, this is an African leader, former president of one of the countries, and he about to clown his own people for all this begging. Y'all been begging this white man for all this time. Listen to him.
I don't know. Trump has removed money. He said he's not giving us any more money. Watu wanalia. Why are you crying? It's not your government. It's not your country. He has no reason to give you anything. I mean, hey, you don't pay taxes in America. He's appealing to his people. Shauri yenu bana. This is a wake-up call for you to say, okay, what are we going to do to help ourselves? Instead of crying, tujiulize, what are we going to do? Haya, ametoa hiyo pesa, sasa tutafanya namna gani jameni? What are we going to do? Yeah? To support ourselves. Because nobody is going to continue holding out a hand there to give you. It is time for us to use our resources for the right things. We are the ones who are using them for the wrong things.
Yep. You're the one using them for the wrong things. Yeah. Now, that being the case, I think I've laid an adequate foundation. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Y'all hit the number 1 button. Make sure you are in here. And if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button. Matter of fact, I need you to go ahead and hit that like button right now. Let me introduce a little music from, not music, but a little intro that my man Big Bass Light put together for me. It's called Hit the Like Button. I need y'all to go ahead and hit the like button. And when we come back, I'm going to continue this barbecue. Y'all hit the number 1 button, hit the like button, and subscribe to.
It's a party going on. Hit the like, 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 hit the like. It's a party going on. We all looking at dinners. Scrolling and subscribing, only take you a minute. Hit the cash app, super chat, be a penny. One is real good, but 20 more will be plenty. Blizzard King pay a visit. Big Bass my witness. Appreciate the love that's black men doing business. Stand up, father and brother lawyer is he. Hall of Fame game, he's known as Uncle D. Tell it just like be, representing for we. We know time is money, you learning and pay a fee. Know it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Say it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Yeah, know that the blizzard come through. But no love for the winner, no this hit. Darren Hay watch views. Hit the like, you know that the blizzard come through. But no love for the winner, no just hit. Darren Hay watch views. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
We still look at all the beautiful music that we've created. That's what's on the inside of us. We are wonderful people. All right, welcome back to the broadcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, the reality here is that the United States is no longer tolerating illegal immigration, and the numbers prove it. The latest reports show that 40,000 African immigrants, are set to be deported. And that's just for the starter. And the list is growing. And I want to be clear, it's not speculation. It's not hearsay, and this is happening right now. Some of the highest numbers come from Somalia. You got over 4,000 Somalians, almost 4,000 people from Nigeria, 4,000 people from Mauritania, And then you have other places like Guyana, Cameroon, 2,000 each, Ethiopia, 2,000, Senegal, 1,700 more or less, Gambia about 1,000, Sudan 1,000, and Eritrea about 1,000. And here's where it gets real telling. Okay, Jamaicans in the U.S. are now seeking to self-deport. They trying to get up out of here. Okay, they rather face the legal if they'll do that, because if they get deported by ICE, then they can't come back for 20 years. So according to the Jamaican ambassador, you guys saw him speak. His name is Audrey Marks. More and more of these undocumented Jamaicans are reaching out to the embassy trying to return home before they're forcibly removed. And see, this isn't a rumor. And it's coming directly from the governmental officials. So this is something that's serious and is really in motion. Now, some people want to frame this as a humanitarian crisis, and they talk about reintegration challenges and due process. And, this is what they say. We don't want to send these people back. They don't, Let's face the facts. They violated immigration laws, and there's consequences. Some are overstays for visas. Some entered the country illegally. Some don't have proper foundation. Some people committed crimes, all right? And that is not discrimination. That's the law. You got to go, all right? Now, the enforcement is happening, and just as it should, because it's been a long time coming. Now, on November 24th, 2024, ICE deported, they reported that 5,120 Jamaican nationals have been issued their final orders. Okay, and that's a final order means, hey, you got to go. So they're going to be picking these people up and sending them home. And this isn't hypothetical. It's already happening. On January 30th, there was a flight from the United States that sent 50 Jamaicans home back to Kingston. Okay, and this is not an isolated incident. In fact, they do it on a regular basis. And I expect this to get ramped up. Now, here's the other thing. Okay, we're looking at something different, something called TPS, which is temporary protected status. There were 309,000 Haitians were given temporary protected status under Joe Biden back in November, and Donald Trump revoked all that, okay? So that means there's a total of about 500,000 Haitians that are about to be sent home. 500,000. That is going to create a humanitarian crisis in Haiti, okay? And we've seen what happens in Haiti. There's already problems. And the question you need to be asking yourself is, Black Americans who see this and we know why are we not in an uproar? Why are we not in an uproar? But see, here's another thing. There's also Nigerians, Ethiopians, Ghanaians, people from the Sudan. What's that guy from Sudan that y'all like to watch? What's his name? Fresh and Fitness or something like that? I know you want to keep that guy over here, right? I know you want that guy to stay, him and his people, right? So why are you Black Americans not in an uproar that Mr. Fresh and Fit's people are going to be deported like that? They're Black, right? Aren't they? Right? Because see, this is not just affecting criminals. No, they're anybody who overstayed their visa. Everybody can go. Nobody is above the law. All right, whether you're from Liberia, it's 1,500 of you all. Sierra Leone, it's 1,500 of you. It's 1,000 people from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are we not in an uproar that our immigrant brothers and sisters from the motherland in the Caribbean are not being sent back? Well, let me just suggest that many of these same Black immigrant groups, they have not extended the support to Black Americans in our fight for justice, civil rights, and economic opportunities, to say it in a more eloquent way. And over the years, we've seen many of these immigrants come to our country and literally distance themselves from the Black American experience and the struggles that we have had to deal with. They position themselves as a distinct group and often looking down on our community. Now, when these deportations are increasing, some of these same folk, low key, expect Black Americans to rally behind them. Same as the Latinos. They expect Black folks to come, Black Americans to come save them. And I'm saying ethnic Black Americans are foundational Black Americans so we can draw a clear distinction. But see, my thing is, where was that energy when we needed support? Where was our expedited visa papers to go to Ghana to get away from the institutional racism that we had? What about the Nigerian government? Where's our reparations from what you all did to us 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago, selling us to European slavers? Where were the alliances when we were fighting for fair treatment under the law? Well, if you can't answer that question, let me help you understand something. That's why the foundational Black American community is sitting this one out. See, the days of jumping into every fight, every political movement is over. Everybody needs to now take responsibility for their own circumstances. If deportation numbers are high, that means the laws are being enforced as they should be. And if certain groups didn't take the necessary steps to secure their legal status, that's on them. Because see, the era of free passes is over. Now, here's what I want you to understand. Now, many people don't believe that Black Americans, the descendants of U.S. slaves, also known as foundational Black Americans, ethnic Black Americans, played a pivotal role in making the Immigration Act of 1965 possible. And this is the very same civil rights movement that dismantled Jim Crow and secured voting rights and that helped fight against desegregation. And it also paved the way for non-European immigrants. That means Africans, Caribbeans, Asians, Latinos to enter into the United States in any significant numbers. But little did our ancestors know, right, that the very people who would benefit from this historic policy would later come to America and practice intra-racial exclusion and dismissing and often looking down upon the very Black Americans who fought to open the doors in the first place. See, it is the civil rights struggle that foundational Black Americans put forth in the Immigration Act of 1965 that went along with the other acts, okay, that did away with the immigration policy, which was in itself heavily anti-Black, anti-Asian, and anti-brown. Now, the shout out to my man Holgram EMC. Now, the National Origins Act of 1924. This was a federal law that put a strict quota that overwhelmingly favored white immigrants from Northern and Western Europe. They didn't even want Southern Europeans. They didn't even want Eastern Europeans. Okay? It outright banned people from Africa, Asia, and the Caribbean and Eastern Europe from coming to this country. And the law was rooted in eugenics and white supremacy, and it ensures that America remained a predominantly white Anglo-Saxon country. Now, it was in the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s that the civil rights movement at that time was in full force, spearheaded by foundational Black Americans. And we spent generations fighting for justice. And so because of that, they lifted it. You had people like Dr. Martin Luther King, who advocated for racial equality and justice, Brother Malcolm X, who spoke against the hypocrisy of the American democracy, and he highlighted the U.S., how it was promoting freedom abroad while practicing segregation, exclusion at home. Then you had the Honorable Thurgood Marshall. He fought for equal protection under the law, which indirectly influenced immigration and reform. And then you had people like John Lewis. He marched, him and so many others that marched and protested, put their life on the line to ensure that the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act were passed, and those laws laid the foundation for what we later call immigration reform. Okay? And what happened when that act was passed, it abolished the racist quota system that allowed for a surge of African Caribbean. Look, they didn't like us over here. The last thing they wanted to do is let some more Black people from Africa and and the Caribbean come over here, but we fought for that, okay? It was us that made it easier for immigrants to bring their relatives. And it also allowed people who had low skill workers from what we call the global south, shout out to TIQS, to migrate to this country. And that's why you can become a doctor and an engineer and a professional here. We literally restructured America's racial demographics, and we made immigration from Africa and the Caribbean a reality on a large scale. Again, little did we know that the people we opened the doors for would look down on us. Little did we know that. So instead of integrating fully into the Black American struggle, they practice intra-racial exclusion and anti-Black American racism. They distance themselves from Black Americans. They call us lazy. Somebody type lazy in the chat room. Uneducated. They call us criminal, right? Violent. They refuse to acknowledge our contributions. They say we beg all the time, even though apparently they be begging a lot more than us, right? They beg the whole government. Your whole government is begging, okay? You benefited from affirmative action. You not only do you attend PWIs, but you attend the HBCUs, and you got the nerve to practice anti-Black, anti-FBA discrimination. You form your own enclaves and you look down on Black Americans who fought for the very rights which you benefit from. And as an African, right, as an African American, you know, I look at the fact that you all benefited from this, and we're still facing systematic racism, mass incarceration, and economic disenfranchisement. Here's the thing you got to understand. By the 1980s and 1990s, America had turned its back on foundational Black Americans, and it shifted its focus to the new model Black immigrants who were seen as more hardworking and educated and obedient, and y'all played up to that. And we're still being denied housing and employment and generational wealth. And these new Black immigrants, you're receiving the student visas and financial aid to attend the PWIs and the Harvards and the Yales and all these Ivy League schools that were literally built and founded by ex-slaves. They're still finding the bodies and tracking down the people, the ex-slaves who were owned by Harvard University, who kept it going. Still looking for them, still finding them. But it's because you attended those schools, now you're able to get these high-paying jobs in medicine and technology and finance, while foundational Black Americans are still being redlined and locked out of the economy. You can bring your family and your family members through chain migration, and then that allows you to further increase your presence, while foundational Black Americans remain under siege from mass incarceration and the war on drugs. So you missed all that. So by the time the 2000s happened, foundational Black Americans began to wake up. We realized that many of these so-called brothers and sisters had no intention of standing with us. Same people we fought for, who benefited from our civil rights victories, now saw themselves as separate from us. And now, as this immigration landscape is shifting again, those same people who look down on us are suddenly crying about, oh, solidarity, we got to go home, it's not fair. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Many people of African descent, whether we talk about African, Caribbean, South American, Central American, or wondering why foundational Black Americans are stepping up or not stepping up and not rushing to the forefront of this immigration battle. Now, you got a couple of Black folk out there that just love to protest, right? They out there, but we're not out there in droves. We're not out there helping them face down these deportations and these immigration crackdowns. And the answer is simple. First, this is not our fight. Remember, we're Akatas, okay? We're not going anywhere. We're Akata. We not. We're American citizens, and we've been here for centuries. Our ancestors built this country. We fought in the wars. We endured the worst injustices. The rights and privileges that exist today, the very ones that allowed many of you all to migrate here in the first place were earned through the blood, sweat, and tears and sacrifices of Black Americans. Yet time and time again, you all don't show us any gratitude. All we get is disrespect. The other thing is, many of you, including those of African descent, have openly dismissed and are unappreciative at times, downright hostile towards us. You've mocked our culture. You called us lazy. You claim we don't work hard. Yet now you're experiencing firsthand exactly what we had to deal with for generations. It doesn't matter how hard you work, because now you're watching the same system that has systematically oppressed us shift the rules once again right before your eyes. And let's be clear, this isn't the first time America has changed the rules to maintain control when they feel their power is slipping. We've seen this play out in history over time. Look at affirmative action. Now, that was something that was supposed to be a policy to uplift Black Americans and address past racial discrimination. But who benefited from it the most? White women. And once they saw Black people gaining ground, the rules changed and we were pushed aside. Look at the GI Bill. After World War II, this bill was designed to give returning soldiers, all soldiers, right? Black, white, whatever. It was designed to give returning soldiers access to housing, education, and financial stability. But what happened? White veterans they received their loans, they got their scholarships, but Black soldiers were deliberately excluded from these benefits. They were denied housing opportunities, and that locked us out of the American dream. So as white folks elevated through the 50s and entered into the middle class and were able to send their children after risking their life on the battlefields of Europe and Japan, they were able to send their kids to college. Black folks were still locked in the ghetto. And what about land ownership and homesteading? So there was a time when there was a lot of free land out west, and west could have been Ohio, Kansas, Oklahoma, whatever. When the land was being given away, the settlers, places like Kansas, white Americans were granted land and Black Americans were systematically excluded. And some of these folks still have that land. You see, even when Black families attempted to establish communities, they were met with violence, lynchings, and the laws stripped them of opportunities. So this is what we dealt with, along with redlining and housing discrimination. You got to understand, for decades, Black Americans were denied access to mortgage loans. Decades. We couldn't get a loan from the bank to buy a house. So what does that leave us with? Either you had the cash to buy it or you lived in an apartment in the hood. So we were segregated into underfunded neighborhoods while white families were given access to loans which helped them create generational wealth through property ownership. So again, for all you all to say, well, I don't know why I don't know why you can't talk. This is what's systematic. And we're not talking about 200 years ago. We're talking about the 1960s. And some of you all have fathers and mothers who were alive then. And what about this so-called war on drugs? It disproportionately targeted the Black community. You get more time for a small amount of crack form, crystallized cocaine called crack, than you would for the powder form, which was actually where it's sourced from. Now, flip the script. Here we are in 2025. When the drug epidemic is affecting the white community, the response suddenly shifts from lock them up to rehabilitation and mental health care. Matter of fact, we're contemplating putting our soldiers and Marines and cadets and Navy in a war with Mexico to stop it. We in the 80s when nobody was trying to drop bombs on Peru and Colombia, but we willing to go to Mexico because now this healthcare problem, this drug epidemic is affecting white folks. That's how the rules change again. Voting rights. Even after the civil rights movement, we fought. Okay, we got voter suppression tax, and we fought to get the right to vote, and now they put in place voter suppression taxes, gerrymandering, where they literally carve up the Black community into two spots. So you got to the majority white on this side, majority white on the other side. You got the black folks cut in the middle, so we never get any representation. That's the reality the foundation of Black Americans face for centuries. And so when we see what's happening now with the immigration policy, we recognize a pattern. How are they just going to revoke your immigration status, right? It's not just, see, just think about that. Because they're ready for you to go. You see? That's how white folk chain the rules up on you. It's not just illegal immigrants anymore. Even those who have legal status are being targeted. We're seeing people who've lived here for decades suddenly losing their ability to stay in this country with no criminal activity. They are literally contemplating reassessing birthright citizenship under the 14th Amendment. That is literally headed back to the Supreme Court. This is how far they will go to change the rule. The very foundation of automatic citizenship, something that has existed for over a century, is now under threat. And the government is actively trying to redefine what it means to be a citizen, and that should terrify you immigrants and your family. When we look at the Lincoln-Riley Act, never let a tragedy go to waste, right? Shout out to my man Calvin MCA. Okay, before it required serious crimes to be grounds for deportation. Now even a minor theft arrest. So you shoplifting and you shouldn't be here, or you on papers, all they have to do is call ICE and you'll be deported. A petty crime, even an accusation of a crime, because the illegal immigrant that unalived Lincoln Riley, he had been arrested for theft in New York, and had they stopped it, the crime that happened to that poor young girl down in Georgia would have never happened. So even shoplifting or an old misdemeanor can get you out of here. I mean, even naturalized citizens are. I'm talking to you all about how they change the rules when it's convenient. Something the foundation of Black Americans are used to. Okay? Once upon a time, becoming a naturalized citizen meant you were safe. You were born in another country. You went, you did everything you were supposed to do. You took the test. You held up your right hand. You said, I promise to protect the Constitution, blah, 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 blah. You were good. Not anymore. Now even naturalized citizens are subject to revocation and deportation. And what that shows is that no immigrant is truly secure in America anymore, except us, because we're not immigrants. Okay? We're not worried about it. Green card holders aren't even safe. If they're coming for birthright citizenship and naturalized citizens, how long before they start stripping away green card holders of their status? All they have to do is say you've been living out of the country and you waive your, you revoke your green card status to get you to sign a form, or you stay too long. All you folk who come visit the United States and you're a grandma, you go stay away for 6 months to a year and you come back, they might revoke your green card status. Look, family members with no criminal record are being deported. See, the quota set by Tom Homan and new immigration, who's the new immigration czar, means that even people who have committed no crimes are being taken away and sent back to just to meet the numbers, the quotas that ICE is setting. So it's not just targeting criminals. They're targeting families, mothers, fathers, and children. And let's be honest, many of you align yourselves with the system when it was convenient for you. Some of you distance yourself from foundational Black Americans. You look down on us while benefiting from the very struggles we fought to overcome. And you were quick to assimilate, quick to take advantage of the programs that we built, right? And now that the tide is turning, you're asking us to fight for you. And my answer to you all is no, we're not your shield and we're not your stepping stone. This is not our fight. And just like Black Americans had to navigate this systematic racism on our own when the rules change, that's what you're gonna have to deal with it. See, the doors that Black Americans once had open are now closing. And that's a reality that all of you immigrants have to face. I'm not just talking to Latinos. I'm talking to foundational. I'm talking to Caribbeans. I'm talking to Africans. I'm talking to all you all. Meanwhile, we're going to continue focusing on our own battles. Somebody type FBAs at rest in the chat room. Somebody type Black women resting in the chat room. And let me tell you something else why we're not going to do it, because history shows us, okay, if we don't fight, no one else will. But when we do fight, guess what happens? You all reap the benefit. Now, here's another thing. Let's address a hard truth, all right? And that's the deteriorated one-sided relationship that exists between foundational Black Americans and Africans from the continent. And I'm just going to focus on the Africans from the continent for a minute. I want y'all to get in tight. You're going to have to hear this. It's going to hurt your feelings. I don't care. For decades, we idolized Africa. We worshiped Africa. We wore African medallions in the 1970s and 1980s and 1960s. We embraced the culture, but we did know about it. We adopt African names. Your Hulu. Boy, your people from Detroit. What's your... My name is Equate, man. Your people from Compton, California. We followed this back to Africa movement, believing that we were reconnecting with our long lost brothers and sisters who didn't know where we were. But that was an illusion. And it died when large numbers of Africans actually started coming to this country, to the United States. And we saw firsthand how they viewed us. Not as kin, not as long-lasting family, long-lost family, but as outsiders. They had that name for us, the one that I said before, Akata. And my research indicates it loosely translates to bush cat or a cat without a home. That's what they think about us. And it's a direct insult. It's a racial epithet, and it's a cruel reminder of our ancestors and how they were sold into slavery and stripped away of their homeland and all the atrocities. And I told you about my great-great-great-great-grandmother. So it wasn't just we were sold away. Imagine that. And for decades, our intellectual class tried to suppress this reality from the masses of Black people here in America. They wanted to blame the Europeans alone, as if Europeans marched into the interior of Africa and single-handedly rounded up thousands and hundreds and millions of Africans. That's a lie. Shout out to my man Quantum Solace. See, history is clear. Europeans did not need to chase Africans through the jungles or the bush. They pulled up to the shorelines and they purchased their human cargo directly from African kings and warlords. Because, see, you had powerful African rulers from the kingdom of Dahomey, now known as Benin, and the Ashanti Empire, now known as Ghana, and the Congo Kingdom. And they actively participated in the slave trade, and they profited from it enormously. The Atlantic slave trade lasted from 1501 to 1867 on the books. But see, here's the cold part. That wasn't even the beginning of the African slave trade. Something that's rarely talked about is the sub-Saharan or the Saharan slave trade. And it predated the African, the Atlantic slave trade by centuries, proving that Africans have been selling other Africans into slavery for thousands of years before the first European arrived. Look, man, let's be clear about something. This wasn't just a war of spoils or prisoners of war being sold off as a side business. This was a for-profit industry, a full-fledged enterprise. And African kingdoms waged war specifically to capture more people to sell. Entire communities were raided and enslaved just to fuel the business of human trafficking. Yet, when modern African governments are confronted about their role, they respond with these weak apologies and excuses. They say those were different kingdoms, not our modern governments. Yet the same descendants of those kings still exist, and those same people call themselves by those same tribes. Shout out to Dre. And many of those same African nations continue to honor their former slave trading rulers with statues and museums. And what's worse, they refuse to offer reparations to Black Americans, to foundational Black Americans. They refuse to even offer us our automatic citizenship that was stolen from us. The very descendants of the very people they sold away. They want us to get in line. Instead, they want to tell us, well, we weren't selling our own people. Think about that. When we say you sold your brothers and sisters into slavery, they said, well, you know, technically we were from different tribes, so we weren't selling our own people. We saw them as members of different tribes. Shout out to Big She 13. Am I, you know, really? Really? You weren't selling your own people? Oh, okay. Well, let's follow that logic. Let's follow that logic to its natural conclusion. If you didn't see us as your own people then don't try to claim us now. You know, us Akatas, don't claim us now. Okay? You can't deny us as brothers and sisters when it suits you, but then suddenly demand solidarity when you're facing deportation. You can't have it both ways. We're not having that. And let me tell you something. Africans knew exactly what kind of slavery they were selling us into. Because see, that's another excuse that I hear. Shout out to my man, Alonzo Dunn. Africans didn't know, Africans didn't know how brutal slavery was in America. That's just another outright lie. The Africans were enslaved in Brazil, and some of them gained their freedom, and they returned to Africa. And they themselves became slave traders, and that was something that happened on the north and the southern and the Caribbean slave trade. If they had no idea what was happening in the New World, why would they come back and then join the business? See, for 500 years, from 1501 to 1860, well, not quite 500 years, but it went beyond that, okay? Nevertheless, millions of Black men and millions of Black women and millions of Black children were shipped across the Atlantic. Do you really think, with all these back and forth trips, do you really think, I mean, they had over 30,000 trips. Do you really think word never got back as much as Black folk like to talk? Do you really believe not a single African merchant or sailor or returning freedman reported on the horrific atrocities being committed and what they've seen and what they've gone? Does your common sense allow you to believe that? Because see, the reality is clear. Africans were being worked to death in the Americas. They were on sugar plantations in the Caribbean and in Brazil, and the average lifespan for an enslaved African was 1 to 2 years. And instead of feeding and housing them properly, the enslavers simply bought new captives and replaced them when the other ones died. The turnover rate was astronomical. And we could look at the story of Clotilda. I talked about that here. The story of the Clotilda. That was the last known ship to illegally bring enslaved Africans to the United States. That was decades after the transatlantic slave trade was officially outlawed in 1807. And in 1960, that grandma that I was telling y'all about, she was alive then. She died in 1865, right before she saw her first day of freedom. She died. 1865. That's when my great-great-great-great-grandmother Liza died. So she was alive. But nevertheless, in 1880, Timothy Mayer, he was a wealthy ship owner, and he financed a voyage. He was from New Orleans, by the way. He financed a voyage and sent a gentleman named Captain William Foster. I want you to know this history because there's a lot of people on here that, oh no, we weren't shipped. That's just that we weren't shipped over. Lies. His name is Captain William Foster, and he purchased a slave ship called the Whyda, W-H-Y-D-A. Okay, and he took that, he purchased slaves in Whyda, WHYDA, which is modern day Benin. And what did he do when he got there? He met with the African royalty. He had to get off the ship, and they struck a deal. And he paid $100 per person for 125 slaves, men and women, who had been captured in the kingdom of Dahomey during a raid. These people were branded. They were packed into a ship they designed for lumber transports, and they were barely able to move. And when he returned to Alabama, knowing he was breaking the federal law, he burned and sank the flotilla and destroyed the evidence. This was not ancient history. This was 1860. The Civil War had not even started, yet Africans were still being sold to the highest bidder. So let's not forget when Mr. Mayer and Foster were put on trial, the case was dismissed. You can look it up right now. Even then, America protected its criminals. They changed the law, just like they did in Red Summer in 1919, just like they did in Tulsa 1921, just like they did during Jim Crow. Nobody went to jail. Now, the cold thing about the Clotilda trip is that the captain had to get off the ship and talk to the king and ask permission. And when he got there, he said there were over 4,000 slaves still in the pen, still pinned up. All he got was 125. Where did the rest of them go? For $100. Now, after all this history, after all these betrayals, after generations of silence, we are being told that we should step up and fight for Africans being deported from the U.S., that we should stand arm to arm because suddenly we are all one people? No. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy you had before. Keep that same attitude you had when you said we're not the same people. Because, see, the truth is when FBAs fight for our own reparations, our own recognition, our own justice, y'all are silent. Many of y'all speak against it. Look at all these foreigners on here who say foundational Black Americans shouldn't get reparations. Shout out to my man, Big Sheep. They always pop up and say that. We wouldn't need them if y'all hadn't commit one of the greatest atrocities that humanity has ever seen. You were instrumental in the slave trade. Y'all did that. So keep that same energy. And now when your immigration status is revoked, when your birthright citizenship is, you got to take, you and that anchor baby got to go back because the Supreme Court said it's a wrap. When even naturalized citizens are no longer guaranteed, when that Lincoln-Riley Act is turning minor theft into grounds for deportation, and you want us to carry that burden. We will not do that. You didn't stand with us. Shout out to Claude Edwards. You didn't stand with us for redlining. You weren't here. Mass incarceration, you said it's because we're lazy. Voter suppression, you said we need to work harder. Redlining, you said, your culture. And now you facing the same system that we battled for centuries. You on your own. We're not your saviors. We're not your shield. And we're not your stepping stone. You all need to deal with the consequences of this very system that you thought you could navigate without us. So go ahead and do it. Now let me take y'all back to 1994 when I was in college. Shout out to Grambling State University. Shout out to my whole HBCU family. I'm just finishing up my sophomore year. You know, like many young Black men from my generation, I've been raised on the values, 1980s hip hop, fight the power, the red, the black, the green, you know, the land, the people, the blood. Shout out to the 5%ers, right? Getting ready for the Million Man March. I believed in Black unity. I believe in Pan-Africanism and the idea that Africa was our motherland, our ancestral home. and our salvation. I believe that. I then watched the film Sugar Hill in 1994 with Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes used to be big. He used to be one of the biggest actors in America. He was the man back in the day. Wesley Snipes, right? He's a man. Anyway, I was introduced to something I'd never heard before. In one of the scenes, there was an African character, and he refused to do business with Wesley Snipes' character, whose name was Romello Scuggs. Okay, so they were in a restaurant. Wesley was there with his brother, and there was another gentleman, two Africans sitting at another table, and they finally approached each other. Apparently, the brother had recommended these folks to do some business, okay? And all of a sudden, the African says, well, we can't do business with the Kata. And he said, Akata. He kept saying 2 or 3 times. And I didn't fully understand what he meant at the time. Matter of fact, Wesley's character didn't really fully understand what he was saying either. Akata, what the hell is Akata, right? But later on in the show, or later on in the broadcast, he quickly said, yeah, you know, Black America, we can't do business with Akata. I didn't understand what it meant. Even at that time, I know they got in a fight. I recognize it was disrespectful. Shout out to James Mitchell. It's a derogatory term used by many Africans to describe foundational Black Americans. And it loosely translates, and I think I said earlier, to something like bush cat, a homeless cat, or a cat without a home. That directly mocks the fact that our ancestors were sold into slavery by Africans, the same Africans that are speaking this derogatory, strip of our land, our names, and our heritage, and our culture. Now, at first, I just brushed it off. How many of you all know what scene I'm talking about? The movie's called Sugar Hill, came out in 1984. I brushed it off. I thought it was just a movie, Hollywood. Thought it was just one person's opinion. But the more I live, right, the more I realized that this was not an aberration, it was a pattern. So for decades, right, foundational Black Americans, we'd embraced Africa. We'd worn these dashikis and kente cloth and African medallions and changed our names to these African ones. You got Black dudes running now named Mobutu Jenkins. Mobutu Shingbawe Jenkins. Mohammed Mustafa Green. We marched, we protested, we celebrated African culture. We believed that we were reconnecting with our long lost brothers and sisters. But when these large number of Africans came through after that 1965 act, when they started migrating to this country in the 1980s and they got some numbers up, they made it clear to us that they didn't see us as their brothers and sisters unless it was convenient. And they also carry with them some deep-seated anti-Black American bias and intra-racial bigotry. And many of them openly expressed the belief that foundational Black Americans were all these derogatory things: lazy, uneducated, violent, inferior. And this wasn't just everyday people. This is the African governments and African elites and African intellectuals. And they carried the same mentality. And it became abundantly clear that Africa was not looking to save us, nor did they even see us as part of their global Black family. If African government wanted to save us, if they wanted to help us, they would have done so long ago. But let me ask you this. Where are the African ships and planes and docking at? What shores are they at offering to give us safe passage home at any time? Where's the mass resettlement programs? Where's the open invitation for citizenship, land, and economic opportunity? That answer is nowhere. Shout out to Black Sand. The truth about returning to Africa See, many foundational Black Americans have tried to repatriate Africa. Shout out to my man Lance Jackson. We've tried to repatriate, haven't we? And we've discovered a very ugly reality. The legal and procedural requirements foisted upon Black Americans returning are onerous, expensive, and restrictive. And instead of being embraced as returning family members, FBAs have been robbed, they've been scammed, or they've had their land stolen. And some have even had their homes and communities that they built destroyed and repossessed by corrupt officials because they didn't ask the right chief. And despite our attempts to reconnect, we still considered outsiders, never fully accepted, never fully integrated, and never fully African. Look, the best we've been offered, a year return. 1 year, I guess, 1 year, right? Nothing more than a money grab. They had some concerts. You see, they made some money. It's not about welcoming Black folk back to Africa. It was a ploy to boost the local economy, to get Black Americans to visit and spend money and leave. They played on our emotions, our longing to be part of somewhere. No real land grants, no economic incentives, no citizenship pathways for the average foundational Black American. Now, if you're a movie star, if you're a music artist, if you're a wealthy business person, they'll crown you king. They'll make you a chief of the tribe and roll out the red carpet for you. But the average foundational Black American, there's nothing for you in Africa except intra-racial discrimination. Look, man, they tell us you don't know your roots. They say we have no tribe, and many FBAs we have to accept that. But let's be clear. We're the only ones who ever tried to build a bridge. It's always been a one-way street. Africa had 500 years to open its doors to us. Africa had 500 years to fight for our return. Africa had 500 years to recognize its role in the slave trade and correct it. We call her Mother Africa, but if that was our mother, she's a horrible mother because she's done nothing. Nothing to try to compensate or make things right with her children. And what do you do with a mother who's like that? You leave. You go on about your business. And when she comes calling, you walk away out of respect. Now that said, shout out to Rosalind Peterson. Now that said, after all these years of rejection and hostility and silence, they want us, right? Right? They want to tell us that we're all one people because it benefits them. See, now when the deportations are happening, now when the immigration policies are changing, the games have changed, now when they're being stripped of their visas, now when they're being denied entry, now when they're being put on the immigration ban list, now when their naturalized citizens are under threat, the ones that have been sending money back home, now when the birthright citizenship is on the chopping block, right? Even a minor theft to get you sent home, now they want to call us brother again. Let me be clear, we're not your shield, and we're not your saviors. We've had to fight this battle alone. We fought against slavery. We fought against Jim Crow. We fought against segregation. And now as African immigrants watch the system turn on them as ICE rounds up their family members to meet deportation quotas, as they see birthright citizenship headed to the Supreme Court, they suddenly remember, oh my God, we share the same skin tone. No, keep that same energy. Remember, we lazy. We don't work hard. Remember that. We're Akatas. You weren't there when we needed you. You weren't there when we marched. You weren't there when we were being brutalized. You weren't there when we were demanding for reparations. And now the situation is changing. And now you on your own. FBAs will fight for FBAs. Africa made its choice, and now we made ours. Now to my Caribbean brothers and sisters, we are uniquely disappointed at you. I want to address the Black immigrants from the Caribbean. We share a similar history of slavery with Foundation of Black America. We are literally neighbors. You would think that having endured the same horrors of European colonialism, chattel slavery, and racial oppression, there would be a natural bond between us. But instead, what do we see? The moment many of our Caribbean cousins arrive to the United States, they go out of their way to distance themselves from Foundation of Black Americans. They proudly declare they're Jamaican, Trinidadian, Bahamian, Haitian, Barbadian, Guyanian, whatever identity. And you make sure everybody knows. Whip your flags out. Shout out to Dre. You let everybody know, I'm not one of them. You act as though Foundation of Black Americans are beneath you. You go out of your, shout out to TGF, you go out of your way to tell people we don't have a culture, no history, no work ethic. You come over here fleeing from these failing economies and these failing countries, crime-ridden societies, limited opportunities, and yet you have the audacity to speak down on the very people whose fight for civil rights paved the way for you to bring your Black behind to this country. Look here. For years, we heard it all. Black Americans are lazy. Black Americans don't take advantage of opportunities. Black Americans practice victim mentality. They have a broken culture. They are violent. But let's put the facts on the table. If Caribbean culture is so superior, why are so many Caribbean nations at the top of the list for the highest unalivement rate in the world? Huh? What did he say? What I said was Jamaica is one of the most violent nations on earth, and it consistently ranks at the top 5 of homicide rates. What I said was Trinidad and Tobago, your little twin islands, overrun by gang violence and political corruption and organized crime. What I said was the Bahamas, where violent crime and drug trafficking plague the country, is a horrible place to go visit. And we can all bunch them other little islands together. St. Vincent, the Grenadines, St. Kitts, Nevis, okay, St. Lucia, these little tiny islands. They got the highest per capita murder rate in the world. And Belize, hotbed of organized crime and violent killings. And it's not just the Caribbean. We got African and Latin American nations that face the same reality. El Salvador, they just cleaned that up. Venezuela, you see what they do when they get here. Honduras, Mexico, Colombia, Ecuador, all of these places have a horrible unalivement rate, highest in the world. And when you look at Nigeria and South Africa, 2 African nations, for whatever reason, they're not getting along. I don't even understand that. Violent and crime-ridden every day. Murder, the great capital of Africa, I believe South Africa is. So I'm going to ask y'all again, if your culture is so superior, why are your nations at the top of the list for violent crimes and lawlessness? If your Caribbean work ethic is so much better than our foundational Black American work ethic, why aren't these nations thriving economically? If your traditions are so much more valuable than ours, shout out to CR, why are your own people desperately trying to flee? Now, here's something else I'm going to hit you with, because I need you to understand that I know, and I want you to know that I know. Now, the rest of these Black folk may not know, but I know. I want to cut through the noise and lay out the raw truth. I want to talk about what you have done to our culture, the degradation of our culture, the over-sexualization of rap music, especially the hardcore, explicit kind. Not the homegrown stuff that we were talking about, fight the power and whatnot. Okay? I want to know who were the architects behind the shift that transformed rap from being the voice of resistance and storytelling into an industry obsessed with hypersexuality, materialism, and outright filth. Well, I'll tell you one thing that they weren't. They weren't foundational Black Americans. No, they hailed from Africa and the Caribbean. And they brought with them that culture that they say is superior to ours. And that drastically changed the face of hip hop. Now, shout out to Eddie B. Now, before you say anything, I want to give credit where credit is due. Let's talk about Marcus Garvey. He was a great Jamaican nationalist leader who was one of the most influential figures in the 20th century. Garvey gave us the Pan-African movement. He gave us UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and the Back to Africa movement. He stood for Black unity, self-reliance, and economic independence. Shout out to Quantum Solace. But when we look at the modern Caribbean influence and how it's contributed or helped deteriorate the culture in America, we see a completely different reality. See, you can't talk about Marcus Garvey, who was a Jamaican, without talking about Uncle Luke or Luther Campbell, who is also a man of Bahamian and Jamaican descent. This man pioneered raunchy, sexually explicit rap music with his group 2 Live Crew. Matter of fact, the federal government sued him and took him to the Supreme Court for his raunchy, degenerate rap. Bahamian and Jamaican. What about Lil' Kim? She was the first female rapper to make overt sexuality the center of her brand. Both of her parents are from Trinidad, Caribbean. Nicki Minaj, don't y'all like her? She, in my opinion, in the music world is a direct descendant of Lil' Kim's hypersexual, provocative style. Both of her parents are from Trinidad. We can't forget Cardi B. She popularized some of the most degrading lyrics ever heard in female rap. Her mother's Dominican and her father's Trinidadian. All these are Caribbean. What about Foxy Brown? She's known for her explicit sexual lyrics. She was born in Trinidad to Trinidadian parents. Don't forget Trina. I'm the baddest chick. She was a major force into the strip club anthems. Her father's Dominican. Her mother's Bahamian. And what about Young Ma or Young M.A.? That's what they call her. She pushed the lesbian and hyper-masculine themes in hip-hop, and her mother's Jamaican, and her father's Puerto Rican. And here's one you probably didn't know. This was a hit from 1996 called Put It In Your Mouth. Imagine, right? The man's name was Akinyele. One of the most sexually explicit rap songs ever recorded. And he's Nigerian and Costa Rican in descent. So let's be clear. That hypersexualized, over-violent, degrading form of hip-hop, it did not originate from foundational Black American culture. It immigrated from Caribbean and African culture. So when you ask yourself, what's happened to Black Americans, ask yourself, damn, did our ancestors do the right thing by trying to getting that immigration law passed in 1965? Man, we should have stopped at the Voting Rights Act. Because all they did was bring that degenerate culture up here. These people flee their homelands and then come disrespect Black Americans. You rather flee than fight. You running from crime, you running from poverty, you got limited opportunities, and then you come to America, you enroll in our PWIs, our HBCUs, you get jobs through our community networks, you build lives in our country, and then you turn around and you talk reckless about Black Americans, even about America itself. But now the rules have changed. You heard what they said. According to the latest report, we sending 5,100 Jamaicans home. You scheduled for deportation. You on the books. You came here to America, you benefited from the system, and now you find yourselves on the list on the way back home. And for years, Jamaicans at the top of the list, Caribbeans, you distance yourself from FBAs. Your mama and your grandma told you to leave them black Americans alone, didn't they? Don't lie. Especially the black. Leave them black women alone. Leave those black guys alone. You boasted about your superior culture. You enjoyed the benefits of living in the U.S., but now you're learning the hard way. You were never truly accepted. You were just here. You were the acceptable Negroes. Haitians are facing mass major immigration crackdowns. There was a Haitian dude about, I guess, 6-7 years ago. He had some reckless things to say about foundational black America. Look him up on the internet. Now you're facing major immigration crackdowns. On February 4th, which is about 6 days ago, they sent 21 Haitian nationals home. 12 of them had criminal records, and 9 were undocumented immigrants. And that's the first deportation flight to Haiti under President Trump's second term. Now, Biden extended this TPS to the Haitians, right? You remember that? But the first week of Trump's presidency, his second term, right? They said, we getting them out of here. They got to go. They're looking at sending home over 300,000 Haitians to Haiti. Little butt end of the island called Hispaniola. You about to send 300,000 home. Again, for decades, Haitians, Jamaicans, African immigrants, you believe that you could operate separately from foundational black America. You could distance yourself from our struggle and carve out your own lane in America. And many of you all look down on black Americans claiming that we were lazy, unmotivated, unwilling to take advantage of opportunities. But now, as these deportations escalate, these same folk are begging for help, calling for solidarity, and suddenly identifying as one people with FBAs. But where is this? Where was this unity before? Where was this unity before? When we were trying to get reparations. Many of y'all spoke against it. Many of y'all said, well, we want reparations too. When we talked about police brutality, you said just comply. When we talked about mass incarceration and voter suppression and red line, you told us to work harder. That's what you did. Keep that same energy. Keep that same energy as birthright citizenship is being challenged. Naturalized citizens, keep that same energy. See, here's the deal. Shout out to FBA SIP. Thank you so much. See, after years of allowing you all to come here and benefit from your resources and your labor and your time, the United States government under Donald Trump has decided to send you home. And that's unfair. But because you built a life here, you have family and responsibilities, and you have children who are American citizens. And yet the only way to keep your family together is for you and them to be deported together. But where is home now? Is it the country you haven't set foot on for decades? A place where your children who have only known America will be seen as foreigners? They probably don't speak the language. They don't know the culture. And whether it's an Afro-Caribbean nation or an African country, you're going to be treated like outsiders. You might get robbed. Something else worse might happen. Hate that for you. But you see what happened to the Jamaican lady. And so here you are, you stand caught in the middle, forced to watch everything you built be stripped away. They are about to send you home. That house you bought, that car, your clothes, things you worked hard, you worked hard for it. All of that is about to be gone in an instant. Your family, shout out to In the World Today. Everything, your family broken apart. The forced disconnection from a life that was promised but never guaranteed. This is not just a moment, this is a pattern. And we, when I say we, I mean Black Americans have seen it before. And when you turn for help, where's the support? Even your foundational Black American brothers and sisters, you distance yourself from us, right? We're distant relatives, but you distance yourself from us. We're the descendants of ancestors. We have the same ancestors. Largely, we're going to turn a blind eye to you. Number one, we have our own battles and our own struggles. We're resting. Somebody type FBA resting in the chat room. We've struggled to survive in this system, a system that never fully embraced us, by the way. And so next you're going to turn to your white allies. Okay, but see, they content with screaming on the internet and offering a play-by-play and commentary on your suffering. This is appalling. Trump's, we got to vote him out in 4 years. Oh my God, the Dems, they're telling you about, they're suggesting legal maneuvers, all within the confines of the system that has already changed the rules beneath your feet once. The same laws that once protected you now being rewritten to push you out. See, this is not new to us. This is history repeating itself. James Baldwin once said, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do. And what America has done time and time again is betray Black people, whether native born or immigrant, after using them for their economic gain. Black Americans have lived this cycle for generations. We fought for emancipation only for the chains to be replaced with Black codes and sharecropping. We built thriving communities, places like Tulsa, Black Wall Street, Rosewood, and Seneca Village, only for white mobs and governments to destroy them. We won the right to vote only for it to be eroded by poll taxes and literacy tests. And now modern day voter suppression laws. We gained affirmative action only to see it dismantled when it no longer was convenient for those in power. As Dr. Claude Anderson outlines in his book, Powernomics, the national plan to empower Black America, each time Black people have gained progress, a systematic response has come to undermine it. We were given the illusion of inclusion and affirmative action and civil rights legislation, only for those rights to be gutted by the courts when they were no longer convenient for those in power. This is the same game being played, except today the target is Black immigrants. And see, we as foundational Black Americans understand this reality all too well. We recognize that in America, power lies with the majority, and that with that power comes the ability to set and reset the rules at will. And this is the nature of the game. That's why we take what we can and when we can, and when we can, and while we can, and we're fully aware that the goalposts will eventually shift. And when they do, we do what we always have done. We adapt, we protect ourselves, we rebuild, we unify, because no matter how many times the rules change, we refuse to be erased. Shout out to my man, Quantum Solace. Dr. Carter G. Woodson, one of our greatest minds. He warned us in The Miseducation of the Negro, when you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. Shout out to Amethius Hamlet. See, in this system, it's never designed to sustain us. Every gain we make is met with new obstacles, new barriers, and new betrayal. It's a cycle of progress and regression. And you have to understand the foundation of Black Americans realized this a long time ago. And the only way to survive in this country is to have your own. Dr. Carter G. Woodson warned us in Miseducation of the Negro that we should not seek validation from a system that has never built to include us, and we must seek self-sufficiency. And that's why in 2025, shout out to my man Black saying, that's why now in this time, Black people still live in predominantly Black neighborhoods. We still live pretty much in the states that we've always lived in, and that's that Southern corridor. We still send our children to historically Black colleges, even though we have options. We still worship in Black churches. We still eat quote unquote Black food. We still go to Black clubs. Not because we have to, but because history has taught us that the rules will always change when we start to gain too much. And when the rules change, it's best to have something of your own to fall back on. But see, you all been wanting to run up next to them white folks, and you wanted to live in their neighborhoods. You wanted to marry them folks. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. The main ones out there, all the women out there, the main women out there marrying them folks, immigrants. Praise God. Hallelujah. And you immigrant dudes too. I'm just saying. You got them white folks riled up. You want to live in there. You want to live in their neighborhoods, go to their schools. They don't want you around there. You done made them tired of you. We got to get them out of here. I can't even pronounce this last name. Oh my God, how many vowels is that? Get on up out of here. Thinking your accent was going to protect you. Shout out to my man Black Samurai. So what did foundational Black Americans do? We adapted. We learned the hard truth that true security does not come from inclusion. It comes from self-sufficiency. And that's why we do what we do. Black churches, Black colleges, Black neighborhoods, et cetera, et cetera. And when the rules change, our protection is having something of our own. Okay? Brother Malcolm X, what did he mean when he said the ballot or the bullet? He said we should control the politics and politicians in our communities. If we don't do something real soon, I think you'll have to agree that we're going to be forced either to use the ballot or the bullet. So as opposed to that, let's go ahead and control the infrastructure. Look, Black America has never had the luxury of blind trust. The rules are rewritten to maintain the existing power structure. And the moment we make gains, the system finds a way to take back what was promised. Look, let me tell you something else that's unique about us that we don't do that you all do. See, unlike other cultures, and I'm talking about foundational Black American culture, I'm talking about our culture, the one that you say doesn't exist. Let me give you an example of it. Unlike African cultures, unlike European cultures, Asian cultures, et cetera, Black Americans don't practice social hierarchy within our community. A Black man who works with his hands is just as valuable as a Black man in a suit. See, we don't judge each other by skin tone or wealth or status. If you're a foundational Black American, you're equal. And see, this unity has kept us alive. It has allowed us to withstand centuries of oppression and to rebuild every time they try to break us. Because see, the truth is, we never know who has been bought and who has been paid off. Just because someone holds a high position, it doesn't mean that they serve the people. See, this system has always had a way of elevating folks who will maintain its power. And that's why we remain vigilant. We call them gatekeepers. We call them some other names, but we call them gatekeepers, right? We call snitches too, okay? But Dr. John Heinrich Clarke reminds us in his work, Who Betrayed the African World Revolution, one of the biggest threats to Black progress has always been the willingness of some among us to serve as gatekeepers for the power structure. And just because someone holds a high position does not mean they hold our best interest as a people. The system, as I said, has always had a way of propping up folks who are willing to sell us out. You see? History's already shown us that those in power will always find willing participants to betray their own. And the African rulers, the same ones that sold us into slavery, right? For guns and alcohol and gunpowder, they're no different than the Black faces today who come to our community and sell us out in our communities just for a seat at the table, whether it's making degenerate rap music or doing other things when they get into political office. See, we must remember the past. And when some African rulers sold their own people into slavery for guns and alcohol and gunpowder, they turned their backs on us. And we remember that. And the sooner we recognize this, the sooner we can focus on building something of our own instead of chasing the mirage of equality in a system that has never played fair. So now the question is this. Why aren't Black Americans protesting the fact that Africans and Caribbeans are being deported by the thousand? But that's not really the question. The question is, what are you all gonna do? Huh? What are you gonna do? I suggest you do what our ancestors did. James Baldwin said this: you were born where you were born and face the future that you face because you were Black. And that's something you need to remember. Now, I want to take the opportunity to thank everybody who's contributed to the super chat. I'm still working here. I got work to do. If we can get 3 more super chats, that'll be 65. That'll be live. All right. I appreciate everybody who's up in here with me tonight. All right, let's go ahead and read this stuff and roll through it. Shout out to Manasota County Unsolved Crime, Mr. Dennis Aaron, the plumber. The balloon date show is on Zeus Network. Fighting Brothers. He is not the man we think he is. Check out the show. He's called Dating Erica Menendez. I'm not going to sit up here and talk bad about no Black man, especially some of these trash shows. You don't know what kind of stuff these folk are doing out there. Stop believing TV. That's what I tell you. Stop being such a naive group of people. You got diddied for about 30 years. Okay, you believe that. Okay, so let's stop believing TV. You understand me? Shout out to Liana McDonald. Thank you. Welcome to the membership, Liana. I appreciate you. Oh, you know what, man? Oh, God. Look, I want you all, okay? I want everybody here, especially my members. I did an 8-hour broadcast on the African slave trade. Okay, I am putting this in the chat room right now. Please copy this and check out the broadcast. Much of what I discussed tonight, and some of you all remember it was a series that I did about 3 or 4 years ago. People kept asking me to do something about reparations and discuss reparations. And the further I look, the more I realize my research revealed how complicit the Africans were in the slave trade. So what I would ask you all to do is some homework. As you're driving or listening or whatever, please listen. Moderators, I want you all to put the link that I just put in the chat room. Please pin it to the top. You all copy this, whatever, however you manage to get it. But please take a listen to this 8-hour discussion about the African slave trade and what the Africans' participation was. It's right there. I'll put it up here. It is definitely available to the members. I don't know if it's available to the general public, but the membership is only like $2 or $3. So just become a member. Check this out for the teachers. It's a great teaching tool. Okay. I think you all would really enjoy that. Again, I'm going to put it at the YouTube link there. Just become a member. Check it out. Listen to it. You'll learn a lot. And it discusses everything that I discuss here in great detail. Okay. So shout out to Liana McDonald. Go check that out. And Miss Ellen, thank you so much. You guys go check that out. Also, shout out to Del Monte Green Beans. They said we don't have culture. These last 3 years talking crazy on spaces like Tariq Nasheed. Yeah, brother, Tariq Nasheed was trying to be nice to y'all. He's nice compared to me. I'll be more than happy to have you sent home. We can change the legislation. Remember, I am not nice. I am the bad guy. Tariq is nice. Brother Tariq Nasheed is a nice, kind man. He is a scholar. He is a person who cares about you. I want you to be absolutely certain. Look here. If it come between you and me paying high taxes, you got to go home. You understand me? That's why I voted for Trump. I'll tell you again. Yeah, right. I'll do it again right now, all between all your tears. I'm just saying. And there's a lot of other black folk out there just like me. Keep that in mind. Okay? Yeah, it is. Now, let's keep going. So shout out to Tariq, brother Tariq Nasheed. Tetheracity, thank you so much, Dre. Let me see here. We got Delmonte Green being said, talking crazy while presenting themselves wearing us. Right. Shout out to Delmonte again. Ain't none of them jumped out to C30. Ah, boy, you something else, man. Delmonte Green. Who else we got up here? Malcolm, one of them here, back up. Now they on some, yeah, you know, our brother, we thought we were gonna bring our brothers and sisters over here and they were gonna be our backup, but it didn't work out like that, man. They just really just turned it back. And that's why I say Caribbeans, but Caribbeans specifically are very disappointing to the foundation of Black Americans. Some of your behavior and how you act. Because it is diametrically opposed to what we need. You understand? Shout out to Urban Eagle. Thank you, Stoic. Thank you, Black Martian Heretic. Thank you so much, Cody Marshall. We done all the work and achieved it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Norwal says you really would make a great college professor. Your delivery really is great, bedside manner, and you make it easy to understand all your points as always. It's a pleasure to listen. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, brother. Hey, I'm not trying to teach in anybody's college. I ain't got time to teach you bad kids, okay? I'm not teaching you bad children. I'm not doing it. I don't even like kids like that. All right, just so you know, I don't like kids. I like to sit on my back porch and mind my business. Y'all pay enough anyway. But anybody's welcome to come here and enjoy this broadcast. Intricately Tangled, thank you so much for most needed information. Good looking out there. We got 66 super chats. We can't leave it at 66. That's the devil number. Y'all got to get me up to at least 67. Damn, don't leave me at 66. Praise God. Y'all need to get that up out of here. All my Lord Jesus, get me off that 66 and get me up to 67. Or, hell, let's take it already to 70. But anyway, we got 66 super chats. I'd like to get off that number as quick as possible. Hallelujah. Y'all do what you got to do, man. And I appreciate everybody. It means y'all learn something. That's so impressive. Hootie said a little something for the mat fee. Uncle D, us, we have a very rich history of prevailing through adversity and struggle. Yes, we do, man. We could write encyclopedias on it. Mercer Panama, something for the collection plate. Good looking out, brother. Thank you so much. Also, Elam, get them all. He said, get them all. Yeah, man. Cody Marshall again. He said oh Lord, I done lost it. Let me see here. Cody Marshall said they want all of the good stuff, but none of our struggles. We created our own schools, banks, towns, etc. Now it's time to put our feet up. Yes, we are at rest. Somebody type resting. All the Black women in the chat room. Make sure you say Black women are resting. Okay, let them know where you at. Okay. But anyway, shout out to you, fam. Johnny Harris says, but we are still be busy. We went to work on that overpass outside Cincinnati to get the smoke them. Right. Yeah. Look, man, that's our business. Making sure they don't come to our neighborhoods trying to, intimidate us. That's something different. But all this stuff that these folk are dealing with, they need to fight their own battles. We can't fight everybody's battles. But Dogbone, the last 20 years taught me never to support those good folks again. Let them fly their flags proudly. Yeah, let y'all whip your flags out. I want all you folk who are here from overseas, go on, put your flags on your front porch. Go put them on your car and whatnot. Who else we got? Love being an FBI. I love my country. I love my people. Remember, our people come from a warrior tribe. Not only will we allow the disrespect, for we are a warrior tribe, the Most High created. Thanks. That's right, brother. Also, Alonzo Dunn, but they won't march on their capital. Right. Art Bunker said, I'm broke, sir, but still give you contribute to wealth. Hey, man, good looking out, man. I appreciate that, man. That $5 is mean a lot, man. Thank you so much, brother. Glad you're learning something. And that's what we're doing. If you learn something, contribute. If you don't have money, cool. I need y'all to hit that subscribe button, though. That's what I need you to do. Go ahead and do that. We need to get that out the way. Y'all make sure you subscribe to the channel. Quantum Solace. Our Black tax dollars have been helping the world for over 70 to 100 years. If you count the nations in Europe and Asia, also, none of these nations of 83 are thankful. Right. Thank you so much. TIQS, damn, all that you illegals got more money and support than my yellow veterans in the last 4 years. who fought and died for this country while you illegals got handouts. Get out. You're not like us. Yeah, man, you call us lazy and y'all out here living off of tax dollars. That's not cool. Quantum Solace, let me get this straight. You mean to tell me it was our people who innovated the whole world through our intellectual properties of creation, yet we were paying 83 out of our own taxes, constantly giving them money? Yes, we were. Shout out to Miss Elaine. They have the most resource-rich continent on the planet, and yet they're sitting over there with no electricity, letting the folks cart off gazillions. That's what they're doing. Andrew Baker, guess FBA are not so lazy. After all, immigrants should be thankful for FBA. They should, but they're not. Red Signal, work harder. That's right. My Sarah Ivy Dream said, call 1-866-GHS. Is that for real? Are you for real? This is the number you call? You messy. You real messy. Mystic Media, thank you for the $5. TIQS, get the likes. Let's get 1,000 likes. People have over 1,700 here. Yeah, man, y'all hit the like button. Thank you so much. Chocolate Cosmos, $2 super sticker. Rodney, my Jamaican woman received citizenship 10 years ago. We good over here. Okay, take care. Y'all be cool, man. Be careful, though. Don't be out there committing no crimes. Get home. You'll be back in Kingston with her. All right, shout out to Quantum Solace. I guess he doesn't understand that Europe was a black continent before it became white. This happens when you don't know your history. You talk a lot of foolishness and cape to your ancestors. All right, appreciate it. Cape your oppressed. I don't know. I guess he was talking to the other fella. Good looking out. Cody Marshall, femicide is very common in the Caribbean. Yeah, but they have a superior culture. Remember that. I don't know how that happens, but now I don't know how those things can be present at the same time. Your nation can only rise as high as the moral aptitude of your women. And if you are constantly tearing your women down, then you're not going to have a morally, you're not going to have that a society that is truly uplifted. But thank you so much. Simple SHIT TV. Send me home. Send them home. FBA all day. Support Black male media. Good looking out. Hologram EMC. Don't come back here with that blood clot foolishness. Thank you so much, fam. TIQS. Thank you all for helping hit the 1,000 likes on the main channel. Good looking out, fam. Calvin MCA. This immigration thing ain't got nothing to do with FBA. We fight and we get pooped on. That's right. Thank you so much. Quantum Solace. A white dude told me it's oppression for them if other ethnic groups are equal to them. Right. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's right. Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, you need to check that book out, especially FBAs. This is crazy. They're always moving to the goalposts just to stay on top, although it's futile to continue de-status. Yeah, man, don't play the game. All right. All right. Focus on yourself. Focus on your own. Dre, the Arabs started it. The Europeans perfected it. Thank you so much. Big 199. Thank you. Alonzo. They had a trading post every 3 miles in Ghana along the whole coast of the homie. Largest GDP was slaves. They would extort smaller tribes for slaves. Yes, they would, brother. The history is coming out. The truth is, big bro, those people that they sold to the Europeans were Israelites, the most high only people. Thank you so much. Claude Edwards. Thank you. James Mitchell. Yeah. He said, yeah, I don't understand. MF has come here from other countries saying we shouldn't get reparations. Get the F out of here. You right about that. That's crazy. You dipping yourself in a business you shouldn't be part of. Anyway, let me see who else. We got my man Haig. Should make them pay us reparations. We should. I actually drafted some draft legislation that we can get on the books and make these African countries ante up. If for nothing else, it'd be great leverage to get them to go ahead and give us what we really deserve, and that's our land and our wealth that we would have had we been left alone and not stolen and sent off. Somebody said, Rosalind Peters, I had a few folk in my fam do the same name change thing back in the 70s. I personally found it goofy, but to each his own. That's exactly right. Who else we got here? Dre, I have to say Gaddafi tried to send us $1 billion in 1996 and the U.S. government blocked it. Yeah, they don't want folk helping us. Shout out to TGF. All skin folk ain't kinfolk. A lot of immigrants showed us that. Yes, they did. I have no friends. Good looking out. Eddie B, you've learned something. Hit the like button. Yeah, man. If you learned something, hit the like button. Thank you so much. We got 72 super chats in here. We are rolling. Well, let's see if we can get to 75. That'll be live. Yeah. Y'all keep rolling, man. I appreciate it. You got 72. Good looking out. Who else we got in here? Quantum Solace says, bro, Israelites have been fighting with our Hamite cousins for centuries, thousands of years before them folks showed up, and I believe we still be at quarreling in the future. Yeah, well, there's something to be said. Something's going on. Shout out to J.K. Perkins. What about destructive gangster rap? NWA started it. Shout out to FBA. Send them all back. Who else we got? Is there a correlation between crimes and immigration since the 1960s? Oh man, you guys are really asking me tough questions all the way at the last. You got $2. You want me to? You're gonna have to get more than $2 if you want me to answer that complicated question in the last hour or last few minutes of this broadcast. But that's a good question. We could address that. And also, is there a correlation between crime rates and immigration? Since that's another something that needs to be investigated. Okay. Shout out to Quantum Solace. We are resting. FBA grassroots. We ain't in this mess. My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. Shout out to, oh wow, what a beautiful name, Amatheus Hamlet. A history class here, bringing real jewels of conversations to shed light on system, and our folks might not understand if you did not walk in the shoes and said issues. Black men. Okay, I get it. Great, beautiful name though. Thank you so much. Black saying shame on them for running. Now they get the big plate birthright citizenship. We see you. Grand reset here. Thank you so much, Black saying. Black Samurai, FBA forever. Good looking out, brother. I appreciate you. Corey Smith, thank you so much for the $2. Roach 3, I have been tireless spreading the word about this show in Georgia. Keep up the good work. Hey, good looking out. I appreciate that, man. Make sure you guys share it and send the link to people. You know, good looking out. I appreciate everybody who's came through. Very little tonight for the Similar Collection plate. Keep cooking, Uncle D. I barbecue, man. That's what I do. Anthony Molden, thank you so much. You guys, all my members, make sure y'all check out that link, okay? Y'all check out that link and let's talk about reparations. Just educate yourself on it, man. It's good. Title, FBA is unity. That's why we are standing alone, been alone as people, our people throughout the four corners, although we have never been alone. Why? Because the Most High giving us guidance. Yeah, that's what's up, man. We are our favorite people by the Most High. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Shout out to Georgetta Pinnock. Thank you so much. AI is dangerous. So good to meet a man that thinks critically and not with emotions and skin color. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nurin and FDNI. Why? Now they are shocked that they're being deported, and shocked on their faces priceless, just like the Kansas City Chief. After losing the game. Good looking out, man. My man C807. Great talk. Tell him get your hand out of my pocket. Malcolm would have told him the same thing. Thank you so much, Logic Hits. Y'all hit the button. Yeah, man, that's what I'm talking about. Good looking out to everybody who contributed to the super chat. You see if we got anything that came through on the Cash App. I want to make sure I read everything that everybody contributed. We got my man, who else we got up in? Mr. Turner and Mr. Gerald. Good looking out. Now, the thing is, I'm not finished. I got something else to say. Okay. Y'all know I got to bring this thing on home the right way so we can stick a pin in it. You understand me? I think that's the only way to do it. Give you everything you came to get. Now, but the first thing is I need y'all to hit that like button. We're not finished. I'm gonna come back, but I need you to hit that like button. I need you to do what you got to do. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Y'all do that right now. Y'all check this out. I'll be right back. Hit that like button.
It's a party going on. Hit the like, 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 hit the like. It's a party going on. We all looking at dinners. Scrolling and subscribing, only take you a minute. Hit the Cash App, super chat, be a penny. One is real good, but 20 more will be plenty. Blizzard King pay a visit. Big Blast my witness. Appreciate the love, there's black men doing business. Stand up, father and brother, lawyer is he. Hall of Fame game, he's known as Uncle D. Tell it just like be, representing for we know time is money, you learning and pay a fee. Know it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Say it's cold outside, but the podcast hot. Giving you a feeling that these others ain't got. Yeah, know that the blizzard come through. But But no love for the winner, no just hit. There and hey, watch views. Hit the like, you know that the blizzard come through. But no love for the winner, no just hit. There and hey, watch views. Hit the like, hit the like, hit the like.
We still look at all the beautiful music that we've created. That's what's on the inside of us. We are wonderful people. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. That is right. We are wonderful people. Shout out to all the brothers and sisters who came through tonight. All right, all right, all right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know I hurt some feelings, but you need your feelings hurt. That's the only way you're going to learn. All you Caribbean brothers and sisters, you need to learn. You know, they say a hard head make a soft behind, doesn't it? We've been telling you for years. You didn't want to hear us. And now you're learning the hard way. I don't care if you're mad. They were calling me anti-Latino probably all day on the podcast, and now they're going to be going, yeah, but I'm anti-everybody equally. That's what I need y'all to understand. This is the Blizzard King. I come with the cold, hard truth. I don't care if you like it or not. Now, for decades, foundational Black Americans have been extending our arms and sheltering and advocating and standing in solidarity with our African brothers, our Caribbean brothers and sisters. And it didn't matter if you came from Ghana or Haiti or Nigeria or Trinidad or Jamaica or South Africa, you've been welcomed into this land that we built and protected and endured. We stood beside you. We fought alongside you. We celebrated your causes from apartheid to the earthquake in Haiti. You and made a space for you. We made a space for you in a system that sought to bury you. And how did you repay that generosity? You repaid it with contempt and with disrespect and with arrogance. You came to this country, our country, the United States of America, and you took advantage of the very opportunities that our foundational ancestors, Black American ancestors, bled for. And then you turned your back on us. And worse, you engaged with the same intra-racial tribalism that has crippled Black unity for centuries. And you dare say that when we speak about it, we are causing disunity. You segregated yourselves. You created closed-off communities and you mocked us as lazy, as culturalists. And you conveniently forget that the very culture you now dismiss is the one that kept the door open for you to bring your Black behind over here in the first place. Well, let's be clear about something then. Now the tables have turned. You understand? And now you want us to give you the exact same assistance that we gave you before? See, when they start raiding your Haitian and Jamaican communities, when they start running up in these Nigerian weddings, as you passing out that money, you know, and they start tearing y'all apart and sending y'all back home, when ICE agents come knocking at your doors and you finally understand what it means to be alone in a fight, when your daughters and mothers and fathers and uncles and sons are shackled and thrown in deportation planes, I want you to stare that ICE agent in the eyes and remind them of your so-called work ethic. I want you to tell them you worked hard. Tell them how hard you worked, how you weren't lazy and how you deserve to stay. And see if that stops them from yanking you from your homes and stripping you of your life that you built and sending you back to the lands you barely recognize. Some of you all are out there thinking, sleeping easy, thinking Trump's administration is only going to deport criminals. And you're a fool if you believe that. Because see, as far as America is concerned, your black skin alone makes you a criminal. And they'll find a reason. If they can't, they'll create one by changing the law. Overstaying your visa is a federal offense. And that alone makes you deportable under this administration. It won't matter if you're a student. It won't matter if you're a taxpayer. It won't matter if you're a hardworking citizen. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner, a newlywed, a parent, a school teacher, a pope, a pimp, a prostitute, or a pickaninny. You're going to be sent home. When that day comes, as you sit shackled on that military transport, I want you to reflect on every slur you threw at us. Remember when you called us Akatas? When you claimed we had no home and no culture and no lineage? And you sat there bound. As you sit there, powerless. As you sit there surrounded by armed United States Marines. Remember the irony. Remember how your ancestors betrayed ours, how some of your own African forefathers and foremothers sold us, sold their own people that you won't claim for guns and alcohol and gunpowder. Caught us and shipped us off in chains. Now history is repeating itself. And if you're lucky, maybe one of those Marines escorting you will be black. Just to remind you that the betrayal, that betrayal has a price. But the final lesson I want you to take with you is this. We foundational black Americans do have a home. We made this land our home. We earned it. We built it. We fought for it. We died for it. And despite every effort to erase us, we remain. We are America's first black citizens. And we're not going anywhere. So when you land back in your home country, tell your people the truth. That you were privileged and blessed, okay? Even to have been in our presence. That despite your disrespect and condescension, we still embrace you while you were here. And that even when you turned your back on us, we did not close the door on you. And most importantly, I want you to leave with this understanding. We don't need you. You need us. And if fate ever brings you back, I hope you will have learned your lesson. Because next time, you may not be so lucky. This is Uncle D. I love you guys. Shout out to everybody who came through Quantum Solace. I appreciate all you guys. I love you. And as I always say at this time, I'm out.
Dennis Squirrel.
In the city where the lights don't sleep, Uncle D got the vibe so deep. Representing men strong and free. Dennis Squirrel is the king of the spree. In the streets where the rhythm flows, black men rising, that's how it goes. Uncle D got the truth to show. In his heart, that's where the fire glows. Late night tuning, light up the stream. Dennis Squirrel, wisdom gleam. Voices whisper truth and insight. In his podcast, feel the light. Harmony in every word. Truth and laughter you've heard. That's all right. Wave after wave of smooth delight. Dennis brings the dark
Black men, I want to salute you. Your incarceration rate is down, the education rate is up. We up. We went from, we are doing great for ourselves. So you should salute yourself. Shout out to all the brothers out there, whether you're a truck driver or engineer, whether you're an electrician or garbage man, a doctor, a lawyer, if you a hard working brother, if you fresh out the penitentiary, but you on your grind and you doing it legal and you trying to make amends for yourself, man, I salute you too, brothers. God bless you. This is Uncle D, and you know, I'm out.